Are you using airbending, Jova?
It's been 4 years, 5 months, 3 hours, 28 minutes, 10 seconds and counting since our first ever movie commentary.
On this film.
Movie commentary. Ladies and gentlemen, this is M.Night Shyamalan's The Last Airbender. We've been building Tio up as an Avatar The Last Airbender fan by watching the classic show that a lot of people love. So now that he has pretty much graduated from all you need to know about the original series, grad school, before you watch the movie or Legend of Korra, here's the godforsaken movie that kind of ignited the existence of Legend of Korra, for better or for worse. Okay then, this movie was brought to us by Paramount Pictures who thought, hey, let's not include the original creators, let's not even really consult the original creators, instead let's get that guy who made Sixth Sense, The Village, and a lot of other movies that don't really seem to fit. Oh wait, no, he made Lady in the Water, that's totally fairy tale oriented.
Although, based on what I've heard of The Legend of Korra, not including the original creators might have actually been a good move.
I mean, granted, Legend of Korra at least can say it got better with the latter half of it. Don't get me wrong, it still has problems, but I'm gonna say this, even at the worst of Legend of Korra, it is nowhere near as bad as this movie.
Yeah, this is 2010's The Last Airbender.
Now, for anyone who was a Shyamalan fan, like Pedro, I'm sure this must have been some fun to them. But me, when I saw this, I went in raw, actually having recently finished the animated series, because I sort of actually watched it in full a bit after the finale came out, and I was excited because the trailers for this looked good. Yet another page in the book of never trust a trailer.
Yeah.
Yep. So, I'm joined here by my co-commentators, Pedro from Portugal, Shiroi from Wales, Dwibs from England, and Tio from Italy. I almost said Britain.
I thought Pedro was from the most forgettable country, not me.
Alright. So
Alright.
No, not forgetful, Dwibs. The most forgotten, not forgetful.
I said forgettable.
Ladies, you're both beautiful, but let's tear this movie apart together, shall we? This movie's me.
Start before the Paramount logo.
United in our hatred of this movie.
Alright then. 3, 2, 1, click. You see, Dwibs, the problem is that your country always gets confused with Britain.
So, big question. Why Shyamalan agreed to do this?
It's because his daughter was a fan of the show, so...
That and Margaret...
Water bending. Paramount is so clever.
His daughter must hate his fucking guts if that's true.
That and my guess, too, after so many artsy-fartsy flops, he wanted to make something that was a bit more crowd-pleasing, something that might bring him in some good rep.
Well, if by Russia it was crowd-pleasing, I guess, because this movie did well in Russia.
The only reason I even went to watch this movie in the theaters because again because I just had to know, okay, can Shyamalan actually make a movie even worse than because the thing about M.Night Shyamalan is that before After Earth,
wait, hold on. Our opening. This is admittedly kind of faithful to the intro from the show.
Just without the narration.
Well, I'm actually kind of glad there's no narration. Oh, no, wait, there isn't.
The problem is that you can immediately tell one of the first big problems of the movie right from this opening.
Oh, goody!
The choreographer in this movie is overly complicated for no real reason.
And here's another problem with the movie.
When you're starting your movie with the same thing that Uwe Ball did for Alone in the Dark.
Oh, trust me, Tio, this narration is crucial for this movie, and that's one of its biggest problems.
Shouldn't it be stuff I already know? The fact that everything changed when the Fire Nation attacked?
Yeah, that's the thing.
Wait, hang on. Okay, can I bring up another issue with the film?
Go on.
Already? Wow.
Not only the pronunciations of half the words in this wrong, but they're also inconsistent. For example, there's times in this film where someone says avatar, as Shyamalan would like it pronounced, but there's a couple that say it correctly. There's a couple that say avatar.
Water.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, Dwibs raises a good point.
The reason Shyamalan did that is because he wanted it to sound more like their Asian names. But if that's the case, how could you let slip by the people who said the name correctly?
And there you go. The movie's dead. Why? The effects
Tara
are
already
terrible.
knows this level of water bending.
These are from this. Okay.
No, it's not so much that, Teo. It's more so the fact that the effects are terrible. Do you actually believe that that is actually water?
Okay. I will
Kinda.
say.
Remember,
will
my
say
tastes in
one-
CGI are much lower than yours.
Okay, I'll say one thing. In terms of bad ILM effects, these aren't the worst League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, but these aren't exactly $150 million worth. Again, I know they don't all go towards the effects, but you know what I mean.
So, Teo, obviously,
Who
the
are
guy that plays
playing,
Sokka is Harpo from the Twilight movies, right?
Jackson
Really?
Rathbone, yeah.
Yep, that's right. They got a guy from Twilight to play the humor
Alright,
crack-looking
that
guy.
didn't take long.
Okay, yeah. Oh, by the way, folks, this will be a drinking game for Tio. Okay.
It's not as heavy as it was for Faith and Strife, it's just simple, cheap market beer. So don't worry, I'm not gonna get distracted by the end.
So, okay.
It's
Wow,
more
that-
symbolic of it.
That's the Justin
Wow.
Chatwin
Okay.
note that he just
Okay. I just want to point out there. You know how he said Tiger Seal? Yeah, we're never actually going to get to see that Tiger Seal in this movie.
I gotta say, guys, this
It's
Okay. Immediately, you can tell how fakey everything is. Why? Because this is so
Yeah, this is
clearly
a
a green
screen.
screen.
yeah.
Like
that
it
was
never
almost-
feels like they're anywhere cold because you can't see their breath. And look at that. And by the way, he's completely dry now, even though he got wet
Soaked.
like seconds ago.
it was soaked early.
Speaking of a little problem, is it just me, guys, or does the South Pole seem a bit whiter than I remember it?
it looks more like the North Pole because of it.
Right from the very beginning, it's impossible to actually believe
Oh,
that this world is a
that's
real
a
place.
terrible boomerang.
They apparently filmed this bit in Greenland, but the rest of it was in the Pennsylvania area.
Damn
which
you,
was Shyamalan
global
from.
warming! You ruined the movie filming
Oh,
of Last Airbender.
By the way, remember how in the original show it was Katara that accidentally freezing? Here it's just
Not
Sokka's
just that,
boomerang
they
that
were on a
freezing.
boat in the middle of the ocean. Here, we're just hanging around
They
somewhere.
couldn't afford
So,
walking on
let me
ice.
get this straight. You're telling me that there was a ball just waiting to break out of the ice and all
Oh,
it needed was a few taps from a boomerang.
Hey Pedro, you know who the visual effects supervisor on this film was?
Ooh.
The guy who was, I think, had the same role in Attack of the Clones.
Oh, goody.
Also, the outfits are really underwhelming.
Not just that, even the appearance.
Shouldn't
I
they be
mean,
blue?
Katara looks nothing like she's in the show.
No.
I mean, not for nothing, but this is a case where the whitewashing is present and very jarring.
Oh, goody,
Yeah.
just in time, Tio. I can now cover this. Let's just say here, the races in this are different because, hey, remember how the Fire Nation were Japanese in the original show?
And here they're Indian.
Yep, basically, Tio.
Because Shyamalan.
Yeah.
Wait, Shyamalan made his own race the bad guys?
Oh, Pedro, what was the quote Shyamalan said about this being the most culturally diverse movie?
Allow me. I created this to be specifically the most culturally diverse movie ever made.
That's why only these two characters are white, because the rest of the water tribe is actually, Inuit. So, yeah, Mr. Shyamalan.
Except their grandma.
That's because they need to be relatable for the audience, of course.
Oh, by the way,
I hate Hollywood.
Shyamalan's saying that, he wanted to make the name sound accurate to their Asian term. Yeah, there's a really dumb mistake there. He referred to it as just being Asian. It's not like Asia has multiple different languages, pronunciations, or dialects within it. Oh, wait. It's kind of the biggest continent, Shyamalan. Keep up.
Here's the first big problem, the dialogue.
Okay.
Katara literally just asked Aang like 3 questions in a row without letting him answer. Katara, you might want to, bring him in and try to help him before you start, interrogating him. Just saying.
Yeah.
Not just that, the overall pace in terms of movement and character seems way slower. Oh, and we're already back in the village.
We walked over here.
Did we just miss a scene?
No,
Nope.
Shyamalan heard your slow comment. Okay, fine. We'll speed it up to back to the village.
Okay. Believe it or not, Tio, there's a lot of footage cut from this movie because
Yeah.
Shyamalan and the studio
The water of the ocean.
The water of the ocean. Someone at Shyamalan wrote that line and got paid for writing it.
Yeah. Okay. Here's the thing, Teal. A lot of scenes were cut from this movie to the point where there was like 2.5 hours worth of footage. Apparently, Shyamalan and the big higher-ups thought, though, 2.5 hours would be too long. So they took a hacksaw to it and chopped it up like sushi.
They chopped it up
geez.
to 103 minutes.
Yep. So basically, Tio, not only is a lot of scenes
And
cut, but a lot of
there's
characters are cut.
Let me guess, these footage has been lost forever.
Actually, no. Quite a few deleted scenes showed up on YouTube, and let's just say the movie would have actually been better with a lot of those
So
deleted
no
scenes.
one has tried to do like a supercut of it?
It's because not all of them could be
No,
found.
Sure.
No.
Also,
Besides,
Tio,
that footage is now.
Paramount was pro
Wow,
fit.
these Fire Nation soldiers are so intimidating.
also, Tio, Ancient Chinese Secret, most of the fan base hate this movie.
Nah.
Let
You
me
think?
put it like this, Tio. Even fans who were brought in because of this movie hate this movie. I mean,
I saw this film before I saw the movie. And
I don't
just
hate
thought
the
it was-
movie actually.
No,
like,
I saw this film before I saw the show, so even I thought it was crap.
Don't get me wrong, the movie's terrible, horrible even.
Wait.
But I can enjoy it as a
wait,
guilty
wait.
pleasure.
This
that's
is supposed to be
Zuko.
Zuko.
Hey, look at
Where's
that
the-
scar.
Zuko?
Okay. Dev Patel does fine with what he's given. The problem is what he's given.
But why is this car just like a gentle bruise that he's having?
Why did they turn the best character in the show into
Like, I can
fucking
imagine
guy from Slumdog Millionaire?
I can imagine not recasting Dante Vasco because at this point he would have been too old for the role. But come on,
I don't know.
Didn't he really want to,
No,
actually
no.
play the role?
Yeah.
I think he was fine, wasn't he? How
Yeah,
old
he
was
was-
he back then? I think he was like
He was,
in
I
his
think, still.
early 30s, I think.
Yeah,
well,
something
yeah,
like that.
Zuko is still supposed to be a teenager.
Okay,
though.
Tio. Much as I don't condone watching Channel Awesome stuff, watch the Nostalgia Critics Avatar videos. Dante Bosco shows up cosplaying as Zuko. He would have made a better Zuko, even at that age.
Yeah.
Wow,
Oh.
that was such a convincing disguise. Ong.
Wow, dude, that scene was completely.
Oh, goody, this
Granny?
read. You're scaring these people. No crap.
And here's
Why
the
did
first
he-
big
why-
problem.
Why did the guard put his hood back up?
Here's the first big
Also-
problem.
Oh!
We're trying to stuff an entire season into 100 minutes, and because of that, we literally get no character development whatsoever because we have to rush through the entire
Also,
first
I know
season.
I'm regretting asking this question, but where's Iroh?
Oh, we'll see him later.
Don't worry, he's around. We haven't seen him
Oh,
yet.
okay. I thought he was
Also-
cut, but
Also,
okay.
guys, there's something we haven't found out about this boy yet. His name. Nobody even knows his name yet.
Yeah, like seriously, we literally had.
They asked him his name.
Ooh,
But he hasn't
some
told him
spooky
yet.
firebending.
Yeah, he's
Oh,
the thing.
wait,
In
wait,
this-
wait, hold on,
in this
hold on, hold on.
version,
Hold on. Actually, there'll be a better point to bring that up because now we got another silly moment coming up. That boy's your responsibility. They don't even know his name.
No, he's not.
Now,
But
look,
he's just doing it just because he was some straight. They're treating it like he's just some stray cat off the street.
also, Sokka basically says, I'd kill them all if they took you.
Wow, Sokka is incredibly edgy here.
Yeah.
You see, Teo, Shyamalan thought Sokka would be better if he was always serious, never smiling, and just do nothing but just say or unnecessarily serious.
Like, I can imagine
speeches.
the idea of not emphasizing too much on the jokes, but going the opposite direction feels weird.
See, here's the ironic thing, Tio. The character that Sokka's actor plays in Twilight is actually one of the more upbeat characters, believe it or not. And yet
Didn't you guys
here,
told me also that? Oh,
Okay.
God, oh.
hey, on the plus side
Yeah.
though,
Now
Up-
it's some terrible CGI.
Appa looks terrible.
although to give Appa credit, he is played by one of the, I think, yeah, the only returning actor, D. Bradley Baker.
Well, not there would have been too much effort into it. He just made to make runs, I guess.
And we're back on the ship.
Hi there, Iroh.
There you go, Teo. Here's Iroh.
No.
Okay, that's
The
Sean
problem is
Tao.
that I've seen this actor before.
Yeah,
Tell me.
that's Sean Tao. He plays the scientist that helps Tony Stark build his Iron Man suit in the first Iron Man film.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Oh yes. I mean,
Sean Tao's a good actor. The problem is, again, Shyamalan tries to. It's another case of Shyamalan trying to do something, but he's inconsistent. He has the Fire Nation.
It's not.
Hang on. Excuse me. He has the Fire Nation be Indians, but Sean Taub's Iranian.
okay, Bender. About that, apparently in the UK, Bender is a term for
Bender
gay people,
from
so apparently
Futurama.
this was controversial.
Wait, what?
Oh, by the way, conveniently, Graham actually mentions that her friend Hama was taken away. You remember Hama from Book 3? Let's just say there's a lot...
Honestly, even I've forgotten about it.
Here's the thing, though. See, whereas Book 1 was, made in a way that it can flow naturally into stuff, this book is made to specifically hype you up for later books.
Okay. This is a small thing. Yeah, I mean, she said Avatar correctly there. Why there's no one else? But anyway, there's the best way Shyamalan can convey someone stating something that they believe is, I believe this, I believe that, I believe.
For later,
it's
dudes.
like he couldn't even provide a thesaurus.
Okay, so let's talk about this world's version of the Avatar. Basically, it starts with talking about the spirit world, of course.
No problem with the exposition in this film is that, in my opinion, the best way to do exposition is to have footage go on so that the audience doesn't fall asleep.
Also,
this film doesn't do that.
This is getting very confusing.
Yeah, here's the problem. They say that only the Avatar can talk to the spirits. Oh, and here's the reason the Fire Nation are evil. It's because the Fire Nation don't want to live by the spirits. And basically, basically, Tier, here's something. The Fire Nation are the bad guys because they don't want to submit to a battle of spirits that only one person, the Avatar, can talk to. And they're supposedly the bad guys here.
It's not even just that, Webbs. This script, the big problem with this script in general is the fact that literally every single line of dialogue is exposition. Literally every one. As a result, there's never any moment where the characters actually talk to one another. They're always just saying, "We got to do this. We got to go." Hold on, let me finish.
Wow, even Iroh's T is underwhelming.
All the characters say in this movie is, "We got to go here. We got to do this. The Fire Nation does this. The Fire Nation does that." As a result, there's never any actual one where the characters actually, talk to one another like people.
Yeah, but basically, Tio, in this film, how they test someone as the Avatar is that they put a bunch of stuff in front. They put a bunch of stuff in front of them and see how it reacts to them.
It doesn't even feel like
they turn the Avatar into a magnet.
It's the elements of it. We seem to be if he's attracted to the elements or stuff like that, but it's weird.
Aang has complete control over his bending. He wouldn't do it accidentally.
Yeah. Now here's the difference here. In the original series, how someone found out if someone was going to be the Avatar was based off of how they lived their lifestyles, for certain toys that Aang picked. That's how they were able to glean that he was the Avatar off of it. It was a different tradition for each nation. Here, though, apparently it's just the elements will automatically react to them. So what, does that mean that everywhere the Avatar is, an earthquake will go off if the Avatar doesn't have control?
Oh, Jesus. Also, didn't you guys tell me that Sokka's actor actually was more in character while not shooting scenes?
You can pretty much say that for both him and Aang's, because, oh boy, okay. Poor Noah Ringer. This was supposed to be his big moment, his time to shine, and he gives it his all. He really does give it his all. Also, he says he can't escape the system of worship, so of course he escapes.
I love the way he said that, though. This is a worship!
But yeah, Noah Ringer here, he gave 110%. The problem is that Shyamalan directed him to portray Aang as a kid who is constantly crying, dark and on the edge, and barely gets to joke. And when he does joke, it doesn't feel natural. And yet, he also looked more like Aang off camera. Yes, Dwibs?
His next film was Cowboys and Aliens.
Oh, geez.
yeah.
Also, what's with that filter on his left? left. Oh, it was the sunrise, I guess.
Oh boy.
He's an airbender with a glider. You don't.
Yeah, did you literally
let's
just
use our
not see
firebending.
him get the glider?
Okay.
Guys,
Now,
use our firebending to stop. Oh, we're not gonna stop him.
Now, remember how in the show Zuko did everything, and I mean everything in his and his crew's power to stop him?
awkwardly walks.
Oh well,
Yeah.
he got off the ship. It's fine. I'll get him. later.
Okay, might as well go into a bit of a story with the budget here. See, because Paramount are a bunch of stupid sods, they gave this movie a budget of, let me see.
Well,
$150 million.
I expect nothing less from the people who constantly ward how the Transformers movies.
It's
Basically,
$150 million.
yep, and let me just say this, $150 million was not going to cut it for a movie on this level, effects-wise.
Not for the effects that you'd need. No.
Because Paramount, Paramount for some reason never had faith in Avatar. Like, constantly, every step of the road they would mishandle it. Oh, wait, here
Did
we
they
go.
not see the success of the show? I mean, seriously.
Wait,
Oh, and suddenly I guess we're friends and we're already traveling.
yeah,
Sure.
that's right, because it's literally now that he finally tells them his name. Which is not Ong, it's Egg. Okay, I wouldn't make such a big deal out of this, but M.Night Shyamalan made a big deal out of this. Here's the problem.
Oh my god, this movie's jumping so much.
Here's the problem.
Yeah, now we skipped like 2 episodes.
Yeah.
Like, I
Here's-
get some of the filler is unnecessary, like the Great Divide, but I mean, you're skipping some important stuff. Where's the flashback scene where Aang actually got into the situation he was at the beginning?
Sorry, Tay, we had no time. We gotta rush for this room.
To be fair,
Now they know his name.
they actually are going to show that flashback. Oh, a spider
Oh,
rash.
hey,
Yeah.
Mine, it's creepy as fuck.
Oh,
but
so
whatever.
One of the primary reasons why I still like watching this movie as a guilty pleasure is the script, because the exposition is so hilarious at certain points.
Like,
Also, Nicola Peltz is horrible in this movie.
Yeah.
Don't worry, honey. I'm sure you're a nice person and all, but
Like,
what else
Jova,
did she did?
Jova, you didn't tell me the Air Nomad Temple looked like a park in Pennsylvania.
nah. Okay, now let's see how they handle this scene. The scene where Aang
remember that scene in season 1 where Aang goes ape shit and the Katara calms him down by hugging him and all that
correctly,
shit.
he discovers the corpses of the air tribe inside the temple itself, not right there in the open.
All right, so let's see. So you remember that scene though, right?
All right, let's
Yeah.
just watch.
Okay, let's see how Shyamalan does it.
It's a recycled shot.
Yeah,
Okay, we get it. They're all dead.
snap.
Just had to snap a bit.
Oh god, now Shyamalan's... Oh great, Shyamalan's falling...
Shyamalan,
You're lying.
Oh great,
Shyamalan,
Shyamalan's
you're not
falling...
directing Invader Zim. Come on.
Alright, Shyamalan's falling into one of his old trappings here.
Why was there suspense on music on that scene?
It's something Shyamalan likes to do for some reason. Oh, by the way, Monkey also is black.
Which, oh, there we go. Finally
I
getting a
have
flashback. Which
no-
actually reminds me of something.
What?
Considering it is a technically a licensed product based on something existing, what's the twist gonna be like?
Oh, you'll see, Tio. You'll see.
And this prompts me into the Avatar state.
Now, okay. In the original show, this was built up to because, Aang had no idea, but here Katara actually does kind of slowly lead him into it. I mean, sure, it's out of nowhere and everything, and I guess you could say he's still angry at it. The problem is the execution. Like, if anything, he should have gone right into the Avatar state right there and then, and
And by going into the Avatar state, he also goes into the spirit world for some reason.
No, that's not how it works.
So, Tia, we're barely over 20 minutes in.
You mind if I talk about this?
20 minutes in?
This is one of my favorite aspects of the movie, and by favorite I mean favorite to make fun of.
So wait, are we recreating that scene with that centipede demon?
No, Tay, that would be cool.
Yes and no.
Alright, basically, Tay, every time Aang comes into the spirit world, he sees this spectral dragon thing.
Oh, shit.
There you go. Yeah. Who tells him absolutely nothing useful. And I'm going to... And it's going to become more clear later on.
So no past incarnations of the Avatar.
Oh no.
No,
No.
Theo. That would require them to watch the show.
So Shiroi, Dragon, isn't this great?
Yeah, I get the
I
feeling why people compare this to Dragon Ball Evolution. I'm getting the same identical vibes.
Yeah.
I can hear Katara trying to do her reassuring spiel from the show, but, well, again.
Also,
The dialogue's a bit of a handicap, to put it lightly.
if there's one thing I will give this movie, it has a soundtrack that's too good for it. So, of course, who else is contracted this?
From James Newton Howard.
Poor Howard. Oh, God. And just when you thought they couldn't make any more blunders, here's a comedian playing...
James
That's
Newton
supposed
Howard.
to be the general...
Okay, allow me.
Jason Isaacs.
John, I'm here from the Fire Nation boat, and I'm here to check out the latest Shyamalan movie, which is apparently based on the new cartoon.
So...
Back to you, John.
Okay. So let's do a recap, Tio. They got...
Hold on, I love this scene. Hold on.
Oh,
Let us listen. I love this. Okay.
Okay, let's listen. Shh. Hold on.
He sounds like Tom Hardy's Bane.
Yes. And it sounds like he's trying to do his, Daily Show routine almost. Now, Tio, you may be thinking that this dialogue is incredibly forced and out of nowhere, and you're right, it is. Shiroi, how about you cover this scene, since you haven't covered most?
Yeah, can I cover the scene? Because I love this scene.
Go ahead.
Well, the question first. Who's these doofus that's clearly not Jason Isaacs?
Ozymandias
That's
from the Daily
Ozymandias. I've never seen the Daily Show, too.
Nobody heard the name of...
Ozymandias was one of the best correspondents in the Daily Show back when it was a thing. He's a fantastic comedic actor. Why the hell is he
They
here?
cast a comedian for an extreme serious role.
Let me put
Yes.
it like this. Okay.
Fortunately, he got a better role in Series of Unfortunate Events, the TV show, but here it's...
That's...
Okay, Tio.
Okay,
Hold on, let me recap for you, Tio. They have Sokka play completely serious, yet they have a comedian playing Zhao. Oh, by the way, a picture of Azula and the family
photo, yeah.
Which was actually based on how they look.
Okay, I love that scene because, first of all, as you know, the Fire Prince was Shyamalan, screenwriting 101, never start a line of dialogue with the words, as you know. If they know this, why are you telling them? Anyway,
go ahead.
I love how he's literally saying, as you know, guys, we're banishing the douchebag prince from our kingdom because he's a traitor to us all.
Hero's drinking tea.
And we're
the character in the show.
I know we'll all do this, but I'm just saying this because I'm a douchebag and I just want to humiliate him right in front of all of you. Back to you, John.
Also, can I just point out that there has been almost no banding at all so far?
Yeah, let's talk about that budget now. Because the budget was way too low, they had to include a lot of reasons for certain people to not be able to bend. So what did they do for the Fire Nation, Tio? Get this, the Fire Nation cannot create their own fire. They have to have fire that's already there.
That's bullshit, but I would believe it if I actually did something with it, but they almost did nothing.
Believe it or not, Tio, they will.
The thing that Zuko did before... The thing that Zuko did before looked like a flaming fire.
Oh my god, Haru, they de-aged you into a child! Yeah, that's
not
Haru.
just that, but Sokka's line there was terrible. Like, so, are you the Avatar? And...
I love this.
Yeah, listen
here. Up from the general. It really hurts.
Yes, okay.
I've seen those.
The Fire Nation, everybody.
Okay, they're about to handle one of the most popular Book One episodes. You know, the one that guest starred, God, what's his... God, I can't remember his name. The guy from Star Trek.
There's your comedy.
Such a klutz.
At least I can tell, but at least in this case there was an attempt. Oh, I know this one.
The problem is that comedic timing was terrible.
People talked about this. The fact that the Airbenders are confined into a stone cave.
But don't you see, Tio?
Actually, there's plenty of earth right below them, so it makes.
Oh no,
no
yeah,
sense.
that's what I meant. Not on the metal ship.
Yep, it's just
Yeah.
inside a camp with plenty
Look
of
at
Earth
that. There's
surrounding you.
Earth all around you. Shyamalan. That's an extreme basic mistake to do. Was there really no location?
When you're around Earth.
Not even on a green screen effect. Seriously.
Hey, Shiroi.
Hmm.
Since the film clearly got your favorite character down to a T, if you know what I mean. What do you think of Iroh?
Zuko's my
Iroh.
favorite.
Oh, I thought Iroh was your favorite. You said.
No, one
Zuko.
of them. One of them.
Okay, and by the way,
But
Oh, and already we're trying to do the speech.
But what, Siri?
the TLDR is both of them suck.
so
I like the actors. It's
You're
just the
amazing
script
and
that-
powerful people.
Gee,
the,
God.
the actors are fine. It's just the,
Yeah.
the really awful direction.
Even Ag just pointed out how stupid this is.
Gee, guys, I sure love that scene in the original series where Aang, totally not Katara, was the one who roused a bunch
Not
of
just that, this
Earthbenders.
speech is so generic and pointless.
Here's the problem,
Like,
though.
he's going full Captain Obvious. Hey guys, Earthbenders, people who bend the Earth. The Earth is an extension of you. No shit.
It gets even worse, though, because, let's just say this, Tio, in the long run, this kind of reduces Katara's role, because Katara was the one who was the extra bout of hopeful, who never gave up on people. Now, that's not to
Also,
say...
I ran away and I'm back now.
That's
really?
not
Is
what
that-
happened. Also, I mean, I realized
Oh.
also before, but I might as well point out now. Aang's tattoo, like,
Katara
why-
shoved him.
why is it this complex motif with black lines instead of a
There
single
you go, airbending.
arrow, cyanic arrow?
It's Samon trying to boast that, ooh, look at me, I'm accurate to something. And...
That's not being accurate, though.
And
This
you're...
is the big problem with the choreography right here. Every single bending sequence, as the choreography is so overly complicated for absolutely no reason.
And he tries
the
to
show-
do this in one take.
In the show, the elements moved to the movement of the person's body, and it didn't take all that much for.
Yeah.
But Shyamalan, for some reason, has the actors go. Wow!
Wow,
Like-
Like monkeys.
serious-
I love how Katara just says, don't be afraid, and then bam, the firebenders go after
Oh, and
them.
by the way, Teo. And by the way,
Wait,
Teo, in
watch
this
this,
version,
watch this.
yeah, everybody already
Oh,
knows
yeah.
this.
The
Earthbenders,
dance sequence.
it takes
For a
6...
single rock.
Yep, that's right. 6 Earthbenders to raise a rock.
The thing
and-
is, the choreography is either needlessly complicated or everyone's just flailing their arms. There's no
Also,
middle ground
Sokka
whatsoever.
just straight up cut that guy's throat with his boomerang.
Yep.
Okay, I'll bring up another thing about the Fire Nation in this movie. The Fire Nation have been so nerfed. The only way they can bend fire is if the fire's already
talked already.
Yeah, I
about
already
this.
the fire's
mentioned that.
already there. But with that, how am I supposed to believe that the Fire Nation were able to conquer anything?
Yeah, and again, let me remind you, they changed the Fire Nation's motivation to being that the Fire Nation did not want to follow what the Spirit said, even though I just said that only the Avatar can talk to the Spirit, so the Fire Nation are the bad guys because they didn't want to bow down to the social norm. Like...
Also, Aang's yellow pajama under his mantle is ridiculous.
You were saying, Pedro, about that scene?
I was saying that. Okay, again, the choreography is way too overly complicated, and I would also like to state that it doesn't make any sense for this pacing to be like this. Why? Why is this movie only 100 minutes? Shouldn't it be at the very least 2 hours?
Again, there
Even
was so
then,
much footage that they could.
Oh, it's a waterbending scroll.
Oh yeah, that's
They
right.
could have just couldn't they just
So,
split
Wait.
the book into two
The
parts?
waterbending scroll is taken from an earthbending prison instead from the pirates market.
Also, special mention to
oh, yeah, I
Avatar
just remembered.
Wait, hold on.
Avatar Kyoshi.
Wait. Avatar Kyoshi loved games. Let me remind you, this was Avatar Kyoshi, the stoic Avatar who
Kyoshi was a gamer, confirmed.
Also, Kyoshi was like the most serious Avatar of the bunch,
Oh.
like the one who pretty much said,
We're
"Yeah,
shot in
I
the game,
killed
in
him."
the show, in the movie right now, only in a moment. And there you go, the worst
Ah.
shot in the entire movie. Shyamalan You don't have to be that close to poor Noah's face. I mean, look at this. His forehead is the top of the frame, and his chin is the bottom of the frame.
That's pretty
Like-
bad.
Like seriously. Personal space, Shyamalan.
Also-
Like, come on.
Also, believe it or not, Tio, we've just gone over a few cutscenes because, see, okay, one of the cutscenes where, Aang finds out about Avatar Kyoshi, that is supposed to be the scene where we meet the Kyoshi warriors. There's a deleted scene of that showing up on
So
YouTube.
we glossed over Suki and her team.
Let me provide...
and apparently the reason Aang ran away is because he couldn't have a family.
Okay, let me go into big complaints with how much they screwed up the lore involving the Avatar here. Okay, they say the Avatar can't have a family. Well, okay then, let's just say that's gonna provide a big plot hole, because remember how Avatar Roku turned out to be Zuko's great-grandfather on his mother's side? Yeah, how does Zuko exist yet? If they were planning to stick with that. Furthermore, the way the Avatar worked is that the Avatar
Right.
could have a family. So
Why
what
was
the
everybody
hell?
throwing fruits?
Why
at
is there
Aang?
Pirates of the Caribbean music here?
Oh, and by the way,
Montage of them throwing the
oh
fire.
Yeah.
look, and this is a montage because, as we all know, this movie definitely needs to, rush things up, right? Anyway, Teo, you also might have noticed in this version, firebenders don't actually, use their own inner energy to create fire. They
Oh.
actually bend the actual fire that's around them.
Twib's already told.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, that scene we just saw, there was also a cutscene involving the fortune teller scene, which had a bit of stuff here and there. And oh, by the way, you want to know another thing we're not even gonna mention? Omashu, or Aang's old friend Boomy, who showed up as early as episode 5.
So
Sorry,
we're
Boommy's
not-
not in this movie. Sorry.
So we're not going to Basing Save, at least.
No,
No.
Boxing Sense doesn't
I'm talking
exist.
about Omashu. That's Boomy's kingdom. And let's just say this right now: Boomy was not a filler character. He was important. He's the reason Aang even found Toph, because he's the one who instructed Aang to look for Toph.
Apparently Aang's having a bit of a hard time with waterbending, even though
Yep.
in the show he mastered it in like 5 minutes.
Not
I mean,
just
he
that,
didn't so
but
much
you're
master it,
probably
but he
wondering,
was pretty
Teo.
gifted at it.
You're probably wondering, Teo, why was no water moving
Yeah.
when Katara was doing those moves? That's because the special effects in that scene were unfinished. They were like the movie was literally released unfinished without some special effects. Oh, and back to Azimundi.
Oh, goody. Oh, goody gracious goodness. I think we're about to go there.
Yeah.
John, I'm about to go meet
Yes.
the Fire Nation King.
But first we have to go to some random Fire Nation.
Hi, Fire Lord.
compound. Oh,
There you
no,
go,
wait,
Teo, the
wait,
Fire
wait.
Lord.
Okay, the Fire Lord was built up to big time. I mean, really big time, to the point where the twist was...
This is very offensive to everyone.
I know, right? Like, seriously. Okay. You know what?
The Fire Lord.
Wrong
The
things
Fire
we
Lord's
did,
played by Cliff Curtis, a New Zealand actor.
Like, I'm pretty sure that he's quite the looker in his own right and country and but for the context of the franchise, no. And
Let
not
me
just
re-
that, the Fire Lord was completely in shadows up until book 3.
Yeah.
So-
I mean, he was...
Wait. So basically, the Fire Nation, which is mostly Indian in this film, has an Iranian general, and they're led by a New Zealander.
The only
So
one...
basically, they decided to go like with the Inspector Gadget live action movie did with Dr. Claw.
I mean, you know what? I'll give the
Yep.
Inspector Gadget movie credit. At least they had him in the shadows for a bit before he came out of the shadows. And, at least the guy seemed like he could play a wacky enough Dr. Claw. Okay, yeah. For as much as they screwed up Dr. Claw, at the very least he was fun to watch. Here, all this Fire Lord does is give serious talks like he's so serious. Like, look at Cliff Curtis. Does he really speak an iota of menacing
We're
to
literally
you?
jumping from place to place.
Oh,
Just like in
oh,
Superman.
oh,
Coronation Colony 15.
Oh,
It's
goody.
Star Wars now.
Okay. Remember how The Storm, which is one of the most acclaimed episodes of Avatar, actually is incredibly, well received for, doing a good job of telling the origins of both our hero and our, anti-hero,
all over
let's
it.
call him. No. I mean, this is how they try and handle it. Because, in the original show, there was a bout of parallels.
Oh yeah, we're going to exposit. Yep.
It starts with Iroh trying to get Zuko to fall in love. Yeah. Uh-huh. Iroh, for your information, Zuko...
This was done in season 2, though.
Yeah, Zuko
Yeah.
kind of already has a girl that he's looking into. Of course, nobody who knows that yet.
Oh, here he just.
Just
Also, random kid to give exposition.
That's right. Apparently, Shyamalan. Oh, that's right. I need to have someone that doesn't know to explain that to that person.
Yeah.
Okay, and Zuko literally grabs a random boy to exposit to him.
Yep.
Seriously?
Yes,
Because
he's doing it right now.
Oh,
That's one of the worst medium conveyance ever.
an Agni Kai duel. At least they
Also,
pronounced
are
that
we
right.
are we going to be narrated only on these,
no,
or are we
no.
getting some finally some flashback scene?
Also, no Jover is Agni Key.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Also, not for nothing, but in the
Oh, hi,
Agni Kai
Azula.
duel, that's supposed to be Azula.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, childhood Azula.
I will tell you. Well, not for nothing for the actress, but despite being a bitch, I could tell you that Azula at least had some attractiveness quality.
Yeah.
This girl has terrible teeth.
Not only that, but okay, look, in book 1, we did not know that was Azula, but they emphasized the shot with her in it. Here it's just saying, oh, that's Azula, by the way. It's like, this is one of the problems. Not only is this movie trying to exposit for as an adaptation, but it's a movie that is blatantly trying to set you up for the later seasons.
Java, if you don't mind. Introducing Teo, nothing bending. You see, Teo, nothing bending is when you're bending nothing. Because that's what they do a lot in this movie. They bend nothing. Again,
What happens when you forget to finish the visual effects?
this movie, Teo, was literally released unfinished. There are effects that are missing.
It's the Sonic 06 of.
Let me put it like
Avatar.
this, Tio. The reason people were hyped for this movie was because
Oh God, Sokka! What did you saw? You saw
Bad-
some shit.
oh, well, but bad editing. Apparently, Katara teleported here. Like,
Also, okay, we're talking about the spirits again. Yeah, we started a rebellion.
we did? We never saw that.
Don't you remember, Pedro, with the Earthbenders? Now they've started a rebellion because apparently,
Totally.
in this version, the Fire Nation has already taken over the Earth Kingdom.
Oh my god, effects! It's kind of
Oh
like,
my god, now they finish the effects.
you know, Shira, it's kind of like how in Sonic Forces, we keep hearing in the communicator about this, war that's going on that we never actually see until
Hold
the ending of the game.
on.
Yeah.
At the very least in Sonic Forces, we see places being set on fire, actual enemy troops here and there. Whereas with this movie, apparently, I guess they could say the Fire Nation is one where, oh, here's a flashback.
Oh, more flashback.
Only
This movie jumps around like it's a fucking soap opera.
Only this one's not done with sound. Also, for some reason, the female monks have their hair completely intact. What the hell?
I don't know either.
Oh no, Aang can't do this. Excuse
Didn't
me.
the conflict went on with the firebending and not with?
Oh, great.
And he's just gonna leave Katara and
Okay,
Sokka
Teo.
unprotected.
Also, side note, I get it because of the CGI, but
Okay,
Momo and Oppa did nothing. so
Wow. Really? Katara, you think that this boy, who you barely know, will be back in a day? Like, what? You think he has to spend out his frustration somewhere?
alright, Teo. Keep in mind, this movie's only 100 minutes, and it's trying to stuff 21 episodes.
Oh!
Was it 20?
20.
Or was it 20?
20.
20 episodes in 100 minutes. So, and yet, despite this, Shyamalan still bothered to put in filler in
Okay.
this movie, because this particular scene in the Northern Air Temple is going to lead absolutely nowhere.
Basically, Tio, they're gonna merge 2 episodes into one now. The Northern Air Temple, which may remind you was episode 17 of Book 1, merged with the Blue Spirit episode.
And the Keeper of the Air Temple is the Keymaker from Matrix Reloaded.
Gee,
Oh,
God
no.
forbid we get an interesting bout about, the people modernizing the Northern Air Temple and Aang having to deal with that. Now, that was just boring.
So they cut away the
Tio.
character of Tio, of course.
Who knows,
There goes
Tio?
another one.
Well, Tio, according to Shyamalan, we were gonna see a lot of those characters in Book 2. Yeah, okay, let me say this right now. Never
Also,
just say...
Tio has no role in book 2. He goes again, back again in book 3.
Here's the thing, Tio. A lot of the things that were cut, they were apparently gonna save for Book 2, like the Kyoshi Warriors, Boomy, the Serpent's Pass, and apparently even the Mechanism people from
Oh,
this
we're
one.
actually seeing the past incarnations of the Avatar.
Now, here's a problem here, though. Remember how in Book 3 it was a big deal that the Fire Nation got the ability to fly because of, the plans they stole from that warp balloon? Well, yeah! There goes our build-up for that. Like, I also do have to wonder what plan Shyamalan had, or still has. He still constantly talks about possibly making a sequel. And let me remind you, okay, one reason you can tell that sequel is doomed from the start, he wanted to have Kristen Stewart play Toph.
Oh, no.
Ew.
What does
Oh.
M.Night Shyamalan sing with Twilight, Pedro? I'm genuinely
Not
curious.
to be swerved, but another big question. Oh god, I forgot, I lost my train of thought. But the point being, oh yeah, that it is. That's why. Like,
oh, here we go. Wait, you want to listen to this, Dio?
sure. Didn't you already did this as a kid with the Air Nomads?
Basically, when everybody bowed to him because he's the Avatar, he didn't bow back. Believe it or not, that's foreshadowing. That's supposed to be build up for one of the twists involving this movie.
For what?
Let's just say it's a part of his character arc.
Oh?
Oops.
It was a trap.
Seriously?
Okay, how have you lived in poverty because of the Avatar's absence? I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm very, very sorry. Ka-ching! So long, suckers!
Well,
Like-
I get what it now. Well, to be fair, I get what we're trying to do. It's a parallel to Judas with the 33 silver coins, but
But we never see that character ever again.
yeah. So, but anyway, my
Now
question
you
was,
take it to the-
considering it was a big series to adapt, why couldn't it be? This franchise could have benefited so much to do the two-parter thing. Why couldn't we just divided the book into two major movies?
Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier.
And not having a total 6 movies encompassing the 3 seasons.
That's honestly a good question. I mean, honestly, you'd think, especially with a series as popular as Avatar, like, again,
I mean, season 3 in particular is perfect to divide in 2 parts. You end it the first with the Eclipse Day, and then you reprise that from the second one.
like,
Also,
okay,
what the fuck is up with that dragon?
believe it or not, Tia, this dragon is supposed to be our allegory for Avatar Roku.
Which was of the Fire Nation, so I guess dragon spirit animal, but that's still stupid.
Yeah. Oh, hi, Zhao. Now let's see an actual scene with Zhao trying to menace Aang. Played by...
Why is not killing you?
Well, remember, he'd just be reborn again, and they'd have to search him all over again. That is one of the
okay.
things that actually did make sense. Here's the thing, they kept that from the original, so good for them, I guess.
Yeah, all the things they keep from the original is like some of the most basic things.
Yeah, like, that's the problem with this movie. The only times when it's really been good is when it's, you know, staying faithful. Like, I cannot think of a single original good idea. Which leads to a big problem here. When you're making an adaptation, we realize you have to change some things, but make changes that make sense. Like, okay, look, the
But
character...
that would make sense.
Like, okay, Noah Ringer playing Aang, I can accept that. Like, you know, the... Okay,
Wow, the tanks look nothing like they did.
see, here's the thing with...
To follow on, if you'll allow me,
Wait,
Jim.
we're already doing the Blue Spirit?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes, we are.
But Zuko had no build up to that. Why
If
is
you'll-
he doing it now?
Go on.
If you'll
Pedro.
allow me, Jova, to follow on what Jova was just saying. Okay, I am firmly believe that just because you're adapting source material, even if it's beloved source material, changes are fine as long as they have a purpose and they're done in the service of the story. I'm of the firm belief that an adaptation should be true to the spirit, not necessarily the specifics of the source material. For example, if allow me to give a good example, the reason I find Spider-Man Homecoming to be a great adaptation of its source material, don't get me wrong, it takes liberties from the source material, it does. However, it's true to the spirit of what Stan Lee originally envisioned when he created the character, a superhero that teenagers can identify with, and it literally embraces that. So, as a result, it's a great adaptation. It's not exactly, it's not the copy pasted from the comics, but it knows what makes the source material appealing.
Oh, wait, hold on, I have to comment into this. Stop! Stop, man who clearly freed me from my chains! Please, stop! What?
Yep.
Okay,
Brilliant.
back to what you were
Hey,
saying.
I'm
thanks,
trying to
bye.
save your life here.
The problem with this movie is that, and don't get me wrong, for the sake of giving it credit, and it's also as what Teo was saying earlier about people comparing this to Dragon Ball Evolution, I will still argue all of John, I just found 2 dead people here. I mean, these are just fools, aren't they? Back to you, John.
Also,
Anyway.
you know what's funny? Sorry, a quick tangent, but you know what's funny that you mentioned Jackson Bone being in Twilight as well as this.
Yeah.
Yes.
This film came out the same day as Eclipse.
And I
Really?
hate to say it, Eclipse was the
No, I
better
remember,
movie.
I remember there was a thing on Reel's channel back in the day, First Fans, where basically they would just literally interview people who came to see a movie right after they come out of the theater, and like not just women, like guys were literally saying, "I should have gone to go see Twilight."
Yeah, I mean, something is wrong when you're making Last Airbender seem weak compared to Twilight.
Yeah, Spoonie put it very best in his vlog back in the day. Shyamalan, when the Twilight movie that was released this weekend was not the worst movie of its weekend, you need to rethink your profession. And you need to rethink it hard.
Speaking of being weak, let's talk about that box office. In every country except for Russia, this movie was a colossal failure. The only reason
to be fair, Jova, it did end up making somewhat of a profit in the worldwide numbers.
Well, that's what I'm saying, Pedro. In every country except Russia. Russia, for some reason, was the saving grace box office was. Like, holy cow. Oh, by the way, what, you want to know how really bad this movie is? This movie was so bad that they created a new award specifically for this movie. Worst use of eye-gouging CGI in 3D. Like, oh yeah, did I mention that this movie was supposed to be in 3D? In fact, I went to see it in 3D.
And not just that, Teo. This movie had one of the most infamously bad 3Ds ever. I have never actually seen it myself.
It was converted.
Yeah, let me put it like this to you. It was so bad that they literally created a Razzie Award just because
speaking
of the
of,
bad
how many
use.
Razzie did it this week?
It was the big winner
Five.
it was the big winner of its year.
Okay.
But anyway, hold on, Joe. Let me just finish though. Okay. See, here's the thing. The reason I still find this to be a worse adaptation than say something like Dragon Ball Evolution is because, don't get me wrong, this is a terrible adaptation all around. However, to be fair, it does get some of the most bare bones basics. Like, for example, Aang is supposed to be the one who can only bend all the elements. Okay, there you go. That's one thing that they got right. You know, and Dragon Ball Evolution doesn't even get that level of bare bones stuff right. Like, literally nothing right.
Okay. It depends on this. With Dragon Ball Evolution, it's incredibly stupid, but at the very least, it does get, the tone right, and it gets right that, Goku is...
I disagree.
No, there's nothing that Dragon Ball Evolution gets right.
Hold on. It gets the fact that Goku's supposed to be a monkey from outer space, right?
True, but they don't even but the actual way they explain to be a monkey has nothing to do with
how does King Piccolo actually knows about that.
Remember, Jova, they say that Ozaru is supposed to serve Piccolo, even though Ozaru is not it has nothing to do with fucking Piccolo.
I mean, okay.
But anyway, that's a topic for another
Okay.
day.
Yeah.
So apparently, Zhao recognized that it's Zuko behind the mask because of his.
How?
You see, Dwebs, I am very perceptive of how I can able to recognize people because I'm Asif and I'm just awesome like that. Back to you, Dwebs.
It's not like we could have had another scene with him putting two together, like in the show, because, okay, look, the show went out of its way to foreshadow, yes, but it wasn't blatant about the foreshadowing. It's like, well, if it told you about something, you could expect it to come back. It wasn't like totally, expect this to come back, expect this to come back.
How?
Brilliant.
I have no idea.
Again, okay, here's another thing I'll also
we're
give.
doing the revelation now. Well, if I recall, Aang didn't ever
Aang's
find
only...
out that Zuko was the loose
No, he did.
Let me remind you,
did.
at this point in the movie, Zuko has only encountered Aang once so far. And this is supposed to be a big thing for Aang. Like, okay, part of the charm, between Aang and Zuko's relationship is that, like, well, they start off as the worst of enemies, but over the series, you gradually start to see Zuko's plight better and better, to the point where you almost consider him one of the good guys. Heck, by book 3, he does become one of the good guys.
Airbending does not allow you to do this.
John, you should have seen this complete bullshit. Like, somehow the Airbender managed to conjure up fog. I have no idea what's going on.
He airbended the clouds around him.
And
the pacing of this movie is complete garbage. Back to you, Jova.
Again, why? Why, Shyamalan, did you cut so much footage from this movie?
Well, to be fair, from what I can tell, apparently it was a studio mandate of something, because even Shyamalan himself apparently has said something about the studio interfering a lot.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's actually a good point. Might as well bring that up here. Oh, wait, hold on. Okay, Remember how we brought up Inspector
Now I know.
Gadget? Well, just like
That's
Inspector
supposed
Gadget.
to be the Fire Lord
Oh,
chamber.
but get this, Theo. Now,
Yes.
get this, Theo. Now they're gonna try hiding the Fire Lord's face.
Not
This
just
was,
that.
this was like a
earlier.
fan film.
Yeah. This is like one of those fan films you see on YouTube.
Seriously, look up a
Well,
cosplay.
then he said he made it for his daughter, and again, I repeat, his daughter must hate him now.
At least with Shark Boy and Lava Girl, Robert Rodriguez did this for a 3-year-old girl, and it was like a complete original.
Oh,
thing.
Alante. I love the timing here.
My
That-
son is this.
Here, the Fire Lord is at.
Hold on, Jova. Let him listen. Or specifically
Okay, I
Taylor.
mean,
1, 2, 3.
Oh yeah, the
Yeah,
pauses. The
That
pauses.
pause is.
did we needed that pause before he said yes?
So
Let me
bas-
answer you too. Yes.
Okay, so here's the thing. Zhao's men have been searching the ship. Basically, Iro told them that, he's been on vacation. So Zuko doesn't think, gee, Zhao clearly has it in for me. Maybe he might have, spiked something.
It's one of those things where the Avatar is traveling again. How do you know that? Did you read the script?
Hey, guys, what about that scene where Aang drops out Zuko after saving him?
Also, we haven't seen Sokka and Kitara scenes of that scene where Aang departed.
Yeah, that's the
You
thing.
see-
We completely missed the scene where Aang, drops Zuko off and then goes back to them. Now, of course, in the original show, it was because they were sick. But in this version, it's because Aang was moping, so he went to the Northern Air Temple. Yes, you have my ever...
Oh my god.
I won't hurt him, I promise.
Oh my god. That line was actually not exposition. Like seriously, trying to find a line in this movie that's not raw exposition is like trying to find Wally. Like
A little bit too quiet. Well, crud. That one
Steve,
leaking
my
pipe.
castle.
That one leaking pipe, and that somehow causes an explosion.
okay.
To blow up.
Okay, I am by no means an expert on these
wasn't,
things, but
also, wasn't this the reason Zuko became the Blue Spirit? Because people thought he was dead?
No. To be fair, he was doing the Blue Spirit thing before he had to fake his death. See, the reason Zhao found out about that he was the Blue Spirit was because he saw a bunch of dual swords hanging on Zuko's quarters on the
right,
ship, and he
okay.
put 2 and 2 together. Here, Zhao is just somehow awesome enough.
yeah, one of the primary reasons why I really enjoy watching this movie is 2 things. 1, the exposition. 2nd, Asif Manvi. Because
Yeah.
every time Asif Manvi is on screen, I can escape to a faraway land where I'm back in 2007, still watching The Daily
Also-
Show.
Also,
that pose with the Firebird, if I remember correctly, the Firebird has always had still these relaxed pose, sometimes with his leg crossed. There, this guy is just doing the
Lounging.
spreading.
Like,
Seriously.
let me put it like this.
Doesn't
The,
give a shit.
the Fire
Wait,
Lord...
we're already here?
Yep. Okay, Tio, believe it or not, the
Well,
movie...
I guess on the plus side, we skipped the Great Divide, so congratulations, movie. You did something good.
At what cost, though? At what
cost, though, too? At what
Yeah, we
cost?
skipped the episode with Jet. We've skipped the one with the... No, what
The
we-
Kyoshi
cave-
Warriors, we
The
skipped...
Kyoshi Warriors, obviously. The one about
We
Tio,
skipped the
like
storm.
you mentioned.
We pretty much skipped the storm.
Oh!
Pretty
Yeah.
much.
Oh! We skipped Batu, the thing connecting to Qatar and Sokka's father.
Hold on. Penis hair coming right now.
now.
Penis hair.
Oh.
Hi, you
Um,
guys. I think Yue is very happy to see us. By the way, Tio, that girl...
okay, I'm emptying the bottle.
That didn't take long.
So,
Oh,
how the
wait,
hell
wait,
did
wait, wait,
nobody
wait.
notice
Hold on,
that
hold
during
on.
doing post-production?
Oh my god, that line. My brother and the princess became friends away. We haven't even started their development. In fact, they're
Also,
just looking at each
again,
other.
Legit question: did no one in the production team actually noticed that,
No, apparently
Right.
not.
or actually?
But Teo, I love that shot. Why? Because it's the perfect representation of this entire movie. That's what this movie is, Teo. A big, hairy cock
Wow,
shown
that-
in your face.
Wow.
That's what this movie is.
Guys, I gotta say, Aang here is a pretty good dancer. Now, oh wait, he was supposed to be bending.
I'm not even kidding. Like, when I saw that shot in the theater, I cracked with laughter.
And fade to black.
Wait,
Yeah.
uh,
Because
Okay,
editing
here
is
we
for
go.
morons.
This
so
is...
let me get this straight. we're like, well, yeah, we're both halfway through the movie, but with like 45 minutes left. We're spending all of them for the two-parter season finale.
Oh,
Basically.
it gets even better, Tio. As if this movie wasn't as if this movie wasn't enough of a screw you to Katara and her character. You know that scene where Katara helps, get traditions changed to the point where women are allowed to
We're
fight in the
not
Water
getting
Tribe?
that.
Oh, even
Nope.
better. This guy, Paku here, just lets her join, just like that. No worries about any social rights or this or that. No worries
because
about any old
conflict-
long tradition.
Because conflict might make your story interesting, so obviously we can't have that.
Also, they
God
never
damn
even bring.
it.
Also, they never even bring up Paku's relationship with their grandmother. Something that comes to a culmination in book 3.
Ah,
I'm sure maybe that was in one of the many cutscenes in this movie, but holy cow! Oh,
I really wish the battle would have lasted until the end. But
oh, here's another dose of stupidity. By the way, we're in the Fire Nation here, which does not really look that much like the Fire Nation. I mean, sure, they
No.
had some planes in there, but okay. Remember how it was actually Zhao's plan to kill the ocean and moon spirits? By the way, they're already revealing about the ocean and moon spirits. Here, it's the Fire Lord's plan, which makes even less sense because, as anyone should know, killing those spirits was a bad idea that will hurt every nation. The reason Zhao did it was because Zhao wanted to prove himself to high bouts of grandeur. I guess maybe we could assume that the Fire Lord would be in on it, but why does it need to be the Fire Lord's idea? And it kind of just makes Zhao a mook at best.
Yeah.
Right, so we're coming up to the invasion.
Okay,
let's
Shiroi.
get right
Shiroi.
Oh,
to
no,
the
we skipped this, sorry.
invasion.
All right, Shiroi, I'm going to leave the scene to you because you've not spoken much.
Why?
Shiroi, you know why, Shiroi. Let's see. Come on, Shiroi, you know the reason why. Everyone knows
Let
the
your
reason
emotions
why.
flow like water.
I would give
KJ
you
be so
alcohol,
proud.
Shiri, but sadly the bottle is empty already.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is sparring. Take it away, Shiroi.
Okay, to be fair, that particular never
Eyes
mind.
bending.
That part at the end looked fake.
Every
Go on,
time
go,
it seems
Shiroi.
like they're gonna do.
The bubbles. Have we talked about the bubbles?
Fuck
No,
Yes.
we haven't yet.
Oh.
Shiroi, why don't you tackle that?
Well, to be fair, they're not so much bubbles as much as they're bubble.
They're supposed
Sorry.
to be bubbles, I think.
Oh god, that looks horrible.
I don't know. Of all the effects, so the one about the floating water doesn't seem that.
No. I don't mean the balls themselves. There, when he was dispersing the water into little particles, that's when it looked fake to me.
Now, I'll put it like this. The water bending is serviceable at worst. I will give it that. Here's the problem, though. We barely got to see any earth bending in a movie based off of a season where the
Dang,
majority
could you
of it.
smile once in a while?
No,
Well,
don't you
book
know?
one is water.
Don't you know, Jova? Sorry, don't you know, Pedro? Shyamalan is taking that name to its another conclusion, and now Aang is permanently angsty.
All right. You know what, Shiroi? You got a good point.
why are
there.
you surprised?
This
Why-
isn't how sparring is supposed to work.
Not just that, Shiroi. Why is he surprised by that? He's the Avatar. You know he should be able to bend water.
They might as well be playing.
Oh, hold on. This is my favorite scene in the entire movie.
Oh,
Let me cover this one. Okay, listen.
It's Iroh, not Eero.
Hold on, listen. Hold on.
oh yeah, we never covered that
Hold on.
before.
Hold on.
Well, they pronounce it.
You.
John, you should have been there. I brought up his dead son completely out of nowhere. I'm a master of insensitive conversation. Back to you,
Wow.
John. One of these days, I have to show you some awesome
And
bugs.
it served nothing but exposition.
Oh,
Exactly.
Are you kidding me?
Oh, but it gets even
But
better.
I love that lines though.
Wait. That was weeks that passed. It felt like a day at most.
But Dwibs, automatically writing that we spent weeks together clearly makes them a great relationship. It's
My
like,
God.
okay, by the way, this girl playing Yue here, she will actually get to be in Legend of Korra, for better or for worse. She's okay. I'll let you know right
Let
here.
me guess, casting gag.
Let me put it. I don't know, actually. I need to look into that. Now, here's the thing. She is another one of those ones who's a great actress, but The stuff she's given is terrible, and that's really bad considering how it's Yue of all people. Basically, she will play Asami in Legend of Korra.
Oh.
Oh,
really?
so you
Oh,
know
I don't
about
like-
Asami.
Remember,
but-
Jova, the ending is so notorious, but I didn't even
You know what? You know
Oh,
what this means, right?
wait. Hold on, guys. Something important. Exposition.
She wasn't woke.
Remember how Yue was dead, and you remember how in the original show we saw a flashback of this, but it's much better to be told here. Like, I'm telling you right
again,
now
this
here.
movie is telling a lot and showing so little.
Hey, gee, in that regard, why don't I exposit about our commentary? Guys, Squirm commentated on Last Airbender. Okay, bye.
You know what this also means,
That's,
right? No, go ahead, Theo. Go ahead.
Last Airbender, the text-based adventure.
Basically, you know what this also means, right, Jova? This is another thing that both this movie and Dragon Evolution have in common. Azami, this actress playing Yui, of course, she has a shit version of Yui, whereas now in The Legend of Korra, she has Azami, which is one of the blandest and wastes of potential of a character in Legend of Korra.
Yeah.
Kind of like how James Masters played a shitty version of Piccolo in Dragon Ball Evolution, and in Dragon Ball Super, he plays Zamasu, which is one of the biggest wastes of potential as a character
And
in Dragon Ball Super. It's like a complete equal parallel.
You know
It's
what?
amazing.
Besides, the Japanese voice of Zamazu is it's more warby because memes.
You know, I honestly hate to say it. I really do, but I think that the actress playing Asami got off better, because Asami, while boring and bland, at worst she's boring and bland. Whereas
Zamasu was just, I'm gonna have to agree with that one as well, actually.
Two words. Goku.
Shyamalan, put on the effects!
And here
There's nothing happening!
Alright.
Are we saying Jova, Goku, what?
Goku Black. That's all that needs to be said, but we'll talk more about that later. Now, here's the thing. Apparently, the way bending works is like, well, you have to perform martial arts to practice. Yeah, believe it or not, Shyamalan had them all just do Taekwondo, or at least no ringer did Taekwondo. Here's the problem, though. Like Pedro said earlier, the way bending worked was like, well, the elements worked with how people moved here. It could be slow, it could be fast, but it was all tied into the motions. Here, it's just about a weird flurries, kicks, spin-arounds, ducks, and all that, and elements. Like, seriously.
The basic point is that the bending doesn't actually match the movements of the characters, which is such a complete disconnect.
And I'm gonna be quite honest, even for a movie made around this time, they could have done better. They could have done better so much easily. Like, holy cow. Look, M.Night Shyamalan said that he researched the series big time because of his daughter wanting to dress up as Katara for Halloween.
She seriously doesn't know what Ash is.
So, here's...
She's dumb, to remember. Like, Shyamalan took away her personality and brain. So.
let me remind you, Katara was his daughter's... Well, okay, I'm not quite sure if it was his daughter's favorite character, but Katara was the one that his daughter wanted to be for Halloween. So he saved extra special treatment for her with his Shyamalanizing.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of Shyamalan, you know what's interesting about, like, the main reason why... One of the big reasons I was excited to see this movie in theaters, despite knowing it was going to be crap, because, you know, track record at the time was, well, could you blame me, right?
Yeah.
Is because Shyamalan, After Earth was the one that ended that record, because, you know, After Earth, for as bad as I still think it is, it's definitely much better than this movie.
Oh yeah, basically the running trend was like, well, culminating with Last Airbender, Shyamalan's movies were getting worse and worse.
Yeah, he literally was on he was on this unprecedented streak where every single movie he made was...
Oh my god, this is bad. Star Wars Episode 1 had better underwater.
And that movie came out in 1999.
I cannot.
I mean, to be fair, it's a bit cheating because it was Industrial Light and Magic, but...
This is also Industrial Light and
Yeah,
Magic.
it's the same company, too.
But to be fair, it's the same company that screw up Aragon, so...
Also, somehow So get this, the hands can eat them, but wait, I thought firebenders couldn't create fire with their own palms.
Not just that, we skipped the entire sequence where he breaks into the sewers. He just goes here.
But yeah,
so you're telling me that the Fire Nation could just invade that way. Anyway, go on, Pedro.
Yeah.
But yeah, the streak that Shyamalan was on was The Sixth Sense, which is a fantastic movie. Then we had Unbreakable, which was still a great movie. Not quite as good as The Sixth Sense, but still great. Then Signs, which was, well, let's just say it was terrible. And then then The Village, then Lady in the Water, then The Happening. Basically, every movie was slightly worse than the last. This was, of course, the big culmination of the Shyamalan streak.
This movie has a 6% on Rotten Tomatoes. It is pretty reserved bad because it won 5 awards for, well, let me read you off to them. Here
Okay.
we go.
Hold
Okay.
on, just real quick, Joe, before you say that.
Go on.
Another big reason why I was excited for this movie. Remember, this was the movie that came out after The Happening, which is still by far my favorite Shyamalan film. The Happening is a comedic masterpiece, and anybody who hasn't seen it,
Guys,
watch it
guys.
now.
Important exposition here. You have to meditate for long periods. Oh my god, they can meditate for 4 days. I totally need to know that.
We haven't got 4 days.
Hey, look, the koi fish are clearly glowing. I'm sure that doesn't give anything away a bit too early.
Okay. In terms of the whole, why are the spirits represented by fish?
Okay. In the show, it's explained
Okay,
that
the show doesn't. I don't think the show really does that well either.
the show basically explained that the spirits wanted to live down closer to humans, so they chose, physical beings here, So that was
I wouldn't pick I wouldn't pick to be a physical being, honestly.
well, dudes, not all spirits think the same. And trust me, Legend of Korra is gonna let you know that.
Spirits are stupid.
So here's the problem, though. Never explained in this film. Like, at all. Oh, goody! Now, remember how the fight scene between Zuko and Katara was one of the, top
And also,
fight
it happened
scenes?
at the same time as the peak of the invasion.
Okay, now, in the original series, it happened at the height of the full moon, where Katara was at her peak strength, so pretty much until the sun rose, she had Zuko. Now, let me show you how this goes. Katara blocks. And apparently that means she's gotten better. So she blocks. And another
And
block.
blocks again.
Oh,
riveting.
God. Who are you?
I'm you, but stronger.
Yeah. I know that you're the only waterbender left, but you didn't really make a big deal about it until you actually countered the guy who killed your mother. And watch this, Tia. Watch as Zuko uses his greatest technique, 2 streams.
Seriously?
Bonk.
That was so underwhelming.
Oh, now, okay. Now, you'd think because the Fire Nation need to, have fire on them, the Water Tribe would, put out the torches. They don't.
It's like in Lord of the Rings where they're trying to have or the orcs trying to have a covert invasion.
Oh, God.
They have their
this bit.
torches on.
Okay, Tio, try and take this seriously.
Okay. When it was established by the water tribes respond to howling wolves,
Never.
No, they're owls.
also
Wow.
another thing that we skipped, the Rhino Riders.
Technically,
yeah,
the
the-
Rhino Riders came in on book 2, but you're right. We have not seen any of the rhinos.
Yeah, well,
So y-
come to think of it, we've barely seen any of the 2 combined creatures together.
Gee, it's almost like we forgot to include that in our. Oh, the talk about the Great Library.
The main cast.
John, I'm here in the Northern Water Nation trying to find the moon spirit. I've been told that it's a. I had to show you one of these clips on the show too.
Okay,
But anyway,
Pedro, why don't you tell Tio why this telling of the Great Library is so incredibly stupid? Especially based off of your first time watching.
what are you talking about, Joe? But the Great Library doesn't exist in this adaptation.
But that's the
No,
thing.
it does. They mentioned it like 3 times.
Yeah, here's the thing. In the show, yes, a great library is mentioned, but it was mentioned in a way where it didn't attract too much attention.
Hold on, is it now?
Oh, God.
Okay.
Roadheads.
Okay. And I will be fair. There are exactly 10 seconds during this climax where the movie becomes what it should have been, but it's only for 10 seconds.
So it's kind of like in the Great Eclipse episode.
You'll see.
Yeah,
Like
10
I'll
seconds of absolute power over the.
I'll point it out when it does happen. So yeah, did I miss did I miss Zuko's fight with? Yeah, I did. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, like in that case, let me comment on it. It's such a pathetic that how Shyamalan should never direct an action movie because the fighting is literally this, water shield, and he's like motherfucker, oh, I'm gonna fire again, and she's like water shield. Well, okay, it didn't work the second time, but I'm gonna try a third time for some reason. Oh, hold on. Here. Oh, I love this one.
But this time I'll use 2 fire streams.
So, Dragon, are you actually going to say something useful this time?
Okay, Tio, now they're gonna try and do the scene with Ko, except still with the dragon replaced.
Oh, hold on, Jova. Please tell me how to beat the Fire Nation. Okay, how?
Alright.
Kill them.
Prepare yourself, ladies and gentlemen.
Watch, as M. Night Shyamalan is about to spit into the entire face of the series with this.
Okay.
Fudge
Who's
you.
voicing the dragon, by the way?
That's not relevant to what he just asked, but whatever.
Leaves?
What?
Who's voicing the dragon?
I don't know.
I'll check.
Oh! Wow! Listen to this.
Not necessarily. There have been past avatars who were violent.
He's voiced by John Noble.
Really?
I've heard that name before.
He's been in stuff like Fringe.
There you go. Use the ocean. So basically, what the dragon is literally telling us now, you should use water against the Fire Nation.
Not only that,
Shit.
I should. Thanks, dragon. Okay.
oh, by the way,
now
offhand
we're
mention
even
of Azula.
foreshadowing with Azula.
Yeah, okay, to be fair, that was also in book 1 as well, so fair
Wait,
enough there.
hold it. Zuko dragged Aang into a frozen cave after doing so much march into the snow. Where are we now?
Oh, they're just in the water tribe.
hey,
Zuko's plan is to just sneak out during night, if
Hey Tio.
Yes.
John Noble, not only was he in Fringe and Sleepy Hollow, he also played Denethor in Return of the King.
Oh God.
So basically, Zuko, the same boy who, trudged into a storm with Aang, now it's just going, you know what, we'll wait this out and then sneak out during night. Oh, Bear!
Oh, there's these are rhinos.
Bear.
About fucking time.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, and let me remind you, okay, they did not put out the torches. This is how firebenders work.
In this film.
I guess.
I think we're almost. Oh no, not
We're
yet.
not quite there yet. Don't worry.
I'll point it out when it has happened, though. But that's the thing. Again. Hold on.
The moon's power comes out. It's not the moon.
Iroh.
Also, it's not the moon's power that comes out. It's the moon empowering the
Oh
water
my God,
benders.
more exposition.
You see, Teo, we need to defeat the Fire Nation because we need to defeat the Water Nation because if we don't defeat the Water Nation, there would be a danger to our goals. And if they're a danger to our goals, that means that
Oh God, this.
Ladies and
This
gentlemen, welcome
basically-
to a skit of Tom and Jerry.
yes, one of the greatest animated series of the 21st century, reduced to a bad Tom and Jerry routine.
Between two of the most acclaimed animated characters in animation.
A bad. I would like to underline the word bad because
Yeah.
Tom and Jerry is hilarious. The original shorts by
The
Joe.
Catwoman movie
Joe
also
and-
did this.
I mean, you could if you're gonna make this into a Tom and Jerry routine, at least do a good one like Joseph
And it was
Barbera
hopeless
and
because he
Wilhelmina.
knew already was behind him.
Also, again, more martial arts. How about some bending?
Not just that, also Aang is completely
Can't
a
afford
wimp when it comes to this.
I'm sorry, Jova, but we can't afford the airbending.
I'm sorry, there was something that the show told me, even in its weakest condition,
Uh,
Aang knew how to put up a fight.
Yeah.
Drebs,
Yeah, I mean, he was a pacifist, but he wasn't a
Oh,
wimp.
oh.
I'm sorry, Jova. Drebs, you brought up a good point. You see, Jova, we can't afford just pretend that the bending is there.
Okay. By the way, Tio, there was a line you missed that the dragon said. As the Avatar, you are not meant to hurt anyone.
Yeah, I know about that.
Basically,
he mentioned it.
It's later going to come up that the Avatar is not supposed to kill anyone. kind of notice a problem
Uh,
here.
Is that Shyamalan trying to justify and foreshadowing the bullshit ending on season 3?
Well, if that's his tactic, then that's really terrible, because the whole conflict of the finale of Book 3 is whether or not Aang should kill the Fire Lord. Yeah, he does a bit of a cop-out, but still, the dilemma was there. Here, apparently he's not supposed to kill anyone, and let's just say there's going to be some scenes contradicting that.
This,
No.
I was frozen today.
Yeah.
And Katara did
Oh.
that.
Oh, I love that face she made there. It's like, what did Shyamalan say to her to get her to do that face?
Allow me.
What was she like torturing her puppy behind the camera or something?
Okay, Nicola, I want you to look like someone just killed your favorite toothbrush. Yeah, that's the thing. Nicola Peltz was kind of a whiny brat at the time. Like, she was kind of one of those.
The only reason she's here is actually because she's the daughter of one of the producers or something like that.
Like, apparently off camera, she was a nightmare to her maids and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, look at all this destruction.
I will give it this. I will give it to this movie. Like, for as bad as the movie is, I'll still rather watch this anytime over something like The Lone Ranger or something like one of the many boring movies. Because this movie, for all its problems, it's not boring. If anything, because
It's
moves
too
so
erratic to be boring.
it's so erratic and moves so fast. And it's so easy to make fun of that it's at the very least it's definitely not a painful experience, at least not to me.
Okay. I can kind of agree to that. Now, the reason this is my most hated movie of all time, I'm not going to say it's the worst movie of all time, though. I mean, for one thing, it doesn't even have a 0%, so there's clearly worse
After
out
last
there.
season
And,
exists,
Oh,
so.
Appa.
No.
Appa looks horrible. Moving on.
What is it
And
with every time?
Momo did nothing throughout the entire movie.
Every time I try to give this movie some benefit, it just spits in my face like that.
Appa looks scary.
Well, I guess that's supposed to be, but
Oh wait, I
Hold
think
on.
we're about
like
to
the way
get
the
it.
movie intended.
We're about to get those good 10 seconds.
10
already.
seconds. Yes.
Okay.
I think, yeah. Actually, in a moment, I'll point out when it does happen. Not yet, though. No, not yet. But at any time now, though.
Any minute now.
He's unfreezing.
Yeah, basically.
He's melting. Yes, we totally need to see all this detail.
It's been a while since I've seen this movie, so I don't remember the exact time.
Okay! Here's where things really get stupid. Okay, remember how in the original series, Iroh was not able to stop Zhao because Iroh was on the other side of the pond, but he constantly warned Zhao not to do it? Here, he's right next to Zhao!
And yet he does nothing to stop him.
Oh, it gets even worse because apparently Iroh is supposed to be quite overpowered in this version. Why? Just
Hold
wait
on,
for
Zova.
later.
John, I'm here in the Northern Water Nation, and I'm fishing me some moon spirits. Look, I caught one. Do you want one, John?
We're gonna
Even
make sushi.
Shyamalan's pointing
Oh,
out a little bit
wow.
on the floor.
Okay, so they actually do give a reason for why they chose a
Also,
form like that.
surprised Shyamalan hasn't cameoed himself in the movie yet.
Maybe he did as one of the soldiers, I don't know.
Let me check. Well, does it look like?
Stop.
No,
Does
stop.
he usually
Bash.
cameo
Just
in his own
yank.
movie?
Yes.
Asif, why are you in this movie? Why?
Iroh, firebended him. Yank the back out of his hand. Slap him if you need to. No, don't.
But John, this is my biggest
Oh, yeah.
catch.
Oh yeah, that's right. He needs a knife because firebenders can't firebend without a torch.
Now that's a knife.
We are now as gods.
Become as gods. Become
That was
as
a terrible
gods.
snap.
And-
Why does she die?
Um,
Oh yeah,
No,
that
she doesn't die. She just.
Her
no,
hair
no,
loses
yeah, right.
its
She
color.
was connected to the moon spirit.
Why is Aang...
I don't know.
Why-
I thought he got stabbed for a second there, the way he was holding them.
Okay. This movie got it.
Also, no, Jova, no cameos of Shyamalan in
What?
this one.
Also, this
No.
movie got it wrong. See, the lunar eclipse took place when the moon spirit was in trouble, but when the moon spirit actually did get
Oh my God, no.
Oh wait, here we go.
What the fuck?
What's this? Now Iroh can do fire without it. What?
And it doesn't... It looks silly. Sorry.
Wait for it.
Under the cherry blossoms.
Yep, that's apparently a big deal. They can make he
So
can make
making
out
fire
of
out of nothing is this movie's lightning bending.
Oh
No,
yeah,
guys. This was the twist.
Rocket to punch!
and he
Yes,
does
this is the
nothing.
movie's...
Effect doesn't look too terrible.
This is
This
the
was-
Shyamalan
That's it?
twist.
What a twist!
Remember
He
how?
didn't even bother to
Remember
attack
how?
someone.
Remember how in the original show, Iroh promised that he would unleash unto Zhao tenfold, and he actually did deliver on his promise. The only reason he didn't get Zhao was because his men, were slowing down Iroh. But all the same, he still did let loose all hell. Here, he does it, but doesn't even attack them back for it.
Mhm.
Also, what have we
no,
become?
but
What have we
humanity.
become? What have we
What
become?
have we done?
We are the real
Brother,
monsters somehow.
my brother.
Honestly,
tell me what we're
Pedro, even
fighting
that
for.
movie,
Why
Pedro.
we gonna do this war?
I'm sorry, Pedro. Even that movie wasn't this cringe-inducing. Speaking
You know
of,
what I feel like?
I don't know,
you
Joe, but the fact that they literally put a pop song saying "Tell me what we're fighting for."
Pedro, what you said. Pedro, what you said earlier.
What?
I'm actually kind of tempted to live stream Near Automata for a bit after this.
okay, so apparently the Moon Spirit is a male in this version, so I guess the Ocean Spirit is the she then.
Also, unfortunate implications considering he blasted a female child as she was born.
And now Yui's gonna be the new Moon Spirit, so wait.
Well, to be fair, that's what happened, isn't it? If I remember correctly.
If I recall correctly, if I go in the original...
Wasn't the original Moon Spirit female?
Yeah, I thought so. Maybe I'm misremembering, but I thought it was like in the original show, the Moon Spirit was the female and the Ocean Spirit was the male, but here now I guess it's reversed. Which...
Sokka, stay away. You have no purpose in this
But
movie.
Tio, Sokka loves Yui.
Sokka did nothing in
Oh
this.
god. Okay, Dribs, take it away.
Yeah. Oh god.
What was that about believing? That's right.
Yeah.
Not
Again,
to
that's
buy
Shyamalan has a lot of sentences to start with, I believe, but UA kind of takes it a bit. Okay, take even further to the extent. Here we go. We believe in our beliefs.
As much as they believe in theirs. That's right. It's not about, actually trying to help people. It's just showing them that our beliefs. Again, let me remind you. The Fire Nation are the bad guys because they did not submit to the beliefs of everyone else. So this is essentially going, we gotta put them in their place, essentially. Which kind of makes it a bit hard to sympathize with the heroes when you get down to it. Like, this is kind of messed up when you think about it.
God, James, why are you... Why... Okay. James Howard was doing his job, but why this music for such a crap film?
So, let's see. As to the...
I don't know. I don't know. I didn't find the score to be particularly memorable.
It's the best part of the movie.
Yeah, I agree with Whips here. Anyway, let's see. The awards this movie got, because the scene is oh so engaging. Let's see. This movie won Worst Picture of 2010, Worst Director of 2010, Worst Screenplay of 2010, Worst Supporting Actor, which went to Jackson Rathbone, and, oh yes, the one created just for this movie, because this is when this award got created, Worst Eye-Gouging Misuse
I
of
think
3D.
it's now, I think. John, you would not believe this. Suddenly, the moon is all back. I have no idea what's happening.
Also, UA Spirit, I think that also got cut from the movie.
Also, I think
Well, they put the
outside
spirit back in the fish.
I think outside from Eclipse, a lot of shitty movies also came out in 2010, and yet this one took the cake.
Yeah, this movie won 5 awards
Oh my god,
with all that competition.
Alice Tim Burton's Alice in Wonderland and Iron Man 2 came out the same year.
Yep.
Damn.
Okay.
Remember, 2010 up until Toy Story 3 and Inception, 2010 was a pretty crap year in terms of movies.
Okay, so now let's finally get our final fight between Zuko and Zhao.
Wait, I never asked for this.
But now Zuko apparently is just gonna leave.
Fortunately, 2011 was much better.
So Zuko just walks away. No culminating fight between him and Zhao whatsoever.
Azab Bandi, his expressions are so mystifying.
And we still.
So there you go, Teo. That was Zuko's arc. He learned to spare his enemy, I guess.
Which doesn't matter because look what happens. Look what happens a bit later.
Oh look, Iroh divides it.
Okay, thanks.
Has it really?
Also, shouldn't it be in your greatest mistake?
I mean, what is this about standing alone? Like, if anything, he's always had a troop behind him. He's been...
Okay. Okay, here's the thing. Yeah, he spared his life, but there were a bunch of nameless
waterbenders are gonna kill Ozymandias.
Wait,
What's his name
seriously?
before?
So,
But
so
kill
hold,
him
hold,
anyway.
hold it, hold it. So, Aang doesn't chase him, Aang doesn't witness to his death, and instead of the water spirits, it's instead those four doofus who gets him.
Oh,
Yes.
Patio, the biggest disappointment has yet to come. But yeah, and believe it or not, is a disappointment even bigger than the fact that they're killing off Zhao in this lackluster way. Pedro, close him out.
They just drowned. John, you wouldn't believe this. I'm inside this bowl of water. They're trying to drown me. Back to you, John.
Also, with no dignity whatsoever. Remember, he went out super determined in that series.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was Ozymandias' latest transmission. Good night.
Again.
Killed by a bunch of
Okay, the 10 seconds.
Alright, here we go. There you go, Teo. The only good 10 seconds of the movie. There you go.
Let me guess, this was also in the trailer. So.
Yes, this was used in the trailer.
Okay, here's the thing also, Teo. There were scenes not even
There
in
you go.
the
See,
movie.
water bending and look, the creative with these here. The spice in it. There you go. See, this is what this movie should have been.
You know what else is also sad? There
Even
were...
so, it's still relatively mild, average.
Also, the slow-mo is...
And there you go, that's it.
Yeah, the problem is the 300.
I hope you enjoyed those 10 seconds because
Also, let me... You know what else is also sad? There were a lot of great scenes shown in the trailer. Guess what? That was footage cut from the movie, and that those scenes look so much better. Okay, so this movie has been terrible. It had been terrible, but you know what? Everyone in my theater was pretty much telling them, like I could tell. Everyone was saying, at least we're going to get to see Aang form a giant water kaiju in live action. That would have been so awesome.
Right?
Okay, let me remind you, Tio. The Dragon Spirit has said Aang cannot hurt or kill anyone.
He's gonna murder a whole bunch of people.
Oh, wait, and now, of course,
Going
it's the perfect time for a flashback between him and Monkeyatsu. Pacing, timing, what's that?
Something you eat.
Something you spread on toast.
Ah ha ha ha! The leaf hit him in the forehead.
A fucking leaf.
And now we're about to get that flashback about when everyone bowed to Aang, but Aang didn't bow back, because remember, that's part of the foreshadowing. Because guess what, Tio? We're about to get our twist.
Remember, he can't have a family.
Pedro, since you're the Shyamalan expert, do you want to...
He's
Oh,
burned.
never mind. Shiroi, do you want to tell Tio the twist since you know you...
I don't even remember what this
Can I do it?
Alright,
Yeah.
Toots, go ahead.
Do it.
Okay, so it turns out that the Aang doesn't turn into the weird water dragon thing in this film.
Nope.
Instead, he pulls off the most awesomest thing that Shyamalan can think of.
And apparently the twist is this, Tio. He didn't need to use violence. He just needs to pull off something big that will get the Fire Nation to be afraid and respect
we don't
him.
see the Avatar state.
We saw the Avatar state once when he got angry, but we never get to see the
That's the
giant
only
kaiju.
Yeah,
Here,
awesome.
Aang uses, I kid you not, a wave. A wave that supposedly
He
kills
uses a giant
nobody.
tidal wave to throw them away.
2010 movie having a tsunami for its climax.
Awkward.
Also,
not the best idea.
I'm pretty sure, for Aang not being supposed to kill others, I'm pretty sure those guys that were on the walkway didn't escape.
Yeah, or, the guy's still in the water tribe there.
Now he's in the Avatars.
No, they
There's
were
something
conveniently
in-
evacuated 5 minutes before this happened.
Actually, no, look, they're still there,
look at that
Shiroi.
water. Look at that water. That looks fake as hell.
2010, everyone.
This is it,
Then
guys.
it's angry at the
He
water.
doesn't understand that these scenes were clearly filmed during the day, and they added just a darker lighting effect, kind of like in The Walking Dead season 2.
I love. I get. Okay, Nicola is enjoying this. At least I guess.
Guys, you could
She's
feel...
smiling at everyone suffering.
You could feel the disappointment in my theater at this scene. Like, I actually heard some people crying, of all ages, at this scene. Because, at the very least, you'd thought they'd have gotten the giant kaiju right. That was so easy. Yet,
Remind me
no,
again, why did Russia like this thing?
I have no idea.
Well, there's a difference between liking it and it being the country outside of America that got the
Did we
most.
got free vodka?
Well,
for
remember,
getting to the theater?
Theo, Russia likes Sonic. Russia thinks Sonic 06 is a good game. Russia's
Really?
not exactly.
Oh look, guys, Zuko and Iroh escaped. That'll set up for their role in book 2.
Russia is known for being a very particular country. Let's just say when it comes to taste.
Troska, yeah.
In Soviet Russia, Sonic 06 kisses you, plebs. And this...
Also, this is the slowest tidal wave ever.
But Tio, don't you see the twisted cycle? Unlike in
it's
that
not even moving. Look at that. It's still standing in place.
So let me remind you, Aang can no longer kill anyone. But the Fire Nation don't know that. So essentially, it's just a giant wave, and then they run away.
He seriously just scared them to death.
Yep, he just scared them away.
Congratulations, Theo. It's Dragon Ball Evolution all over again.
I'm so tempted to just getting off the video right now, but
I
the
know
joy is
how
not
you
doing
feel.
more
The film's
commentary
almost
on-
still. Well, the film's almost
Yeah.
done.
Persevere,
That's
Tia. Remember,
true.
I've seen this is like my 3rd or 4th time watching
This
this.
is very mean-spirited.
I know. I mean, it's really bad. Okay, Dragon Ball Evolution does have its issues, and you know what? If you're a fan of Dragon Ball Evolution, you're probably gonna hate that more than this. But holy cow, for someone
To be
like
fair,
me,
I honestly think that I hate them equally
Yeah.
each for their own reasons.
yeah, that's a fair bout. For me, this was the worst film experience I'd ever had. It's the movie that gave me a cynical side for crying
And
out
Shyamalan
loud.
still wants to do a sequel to this.
Yeah, he
No.
still talks about
Not gonna happen.
Also, I'm seriously not expecting Paramount to greenlighting it.
That's just Shyamalan.
I mean,
speaking
we're
out of
already
his ass.
discontinuing the Transformers movies apparently after Bumblebee, so...
Honestly, at this point, why does Shyamalan still want to do it? Like, dude, Shyam-
For now, we know what he's doing. He's busy with his own cinematic universe.
You have your own cinematic
Oh, wait.
universe people are actually looking forward to. Just focus on that.
yeah, I never got.
Look at that. Even the Fire Nation soldiers are buying.
Oh, by the way, Tio, remember that part where we talked about the bowing? Here's where that character arc's about to come to a close.
Do we need to?
They
Yes.
want you to be their avatar.
Well, gee.
Look at her. Look at Nicola. She looks completely.
She looks like she's about to cry.
And look at Noah.
Yes.
He's looking so confused.
I really want to know what Shyamalan told her before each take.
Like, seriously. The way these people talk about their on-screen sets, it sounds like they had fun, yet the way they look in this movie.
I love. We're about to see the final shot of the movie, and it's
Wait, seriously, we're
No,
now?
there's another scene after this.
Wow.
Remember, Paige?
Look at that.
okay.
Look at that face. Oh, God.
we're
this is
ending
going
the
to be
movie
a
on this.
that face. Literally just screaming of a kid.
It's
Oh my god!
not-
This is...
Are you serious?
It's not
Oh,
over
oh
yet.
my-
It's not over yet. Okay.
Hold on, Theo, and now a sequel hook. That face literally just screamed, "This is gonna be
Yeah.
the only movie
Wait
on my
for it.
resume."
Well, Cowboys
Oh,
and Aliens.
wow. Hey, guys, we're mentioning Sozin's comment
How do
only
you
now.
know that Sozing's comment is returning without
Paige,
the great
Paige, remember
library?
Cowboys and Aliens?
Yeah, I know.
Wow, okay. So apparently this comment will give Firebenders the ability to firebend without, a source. Even though Iroh can already do that. Yeah, it turns out being able to firebend without
But
a source.
Iroh's OP because Dragon
Also,
Nerve Nintendo.
Also, that will require anybody to remember that movie.
Oh boy. One more bout of foreshadowing, shall we?
Oh.
I will, father.
Also, who's playing Azula?
Summer something. Let me look up her name.
Still with terrible teeth.
And
It's
that's
not
it.
intimidating in the
Oh
slightest.
my!
And there
this was the twist of the credit at the end. Would say,
There
but-
was a cacophony of boos at the end of this movie.
Also, again with the Pirates of the Caribbean.
Let's see. Oh yeah, by the way, the general consensus from Roger Ebert was the last.
Hey, look,
Airbender-
Kathleen Kennedy was involved in this, executive producer.
Oh, Kathleen Kennedy. Wait, how did she go from that to?
Well, remember, Jova, Kathleen Kennedy at this point in time, she was doing production for a lot of Hollywood for various different companies at the same time. This was just one of them. Like, she's produced a lot of, she's been executive producer for a lot of good movies. It's just, back in the past. This was just one in the midst of many.
Let's see. The woman playing Princess Azula is Summer Bishil.
Not to mention, to be fair, like all she really had was giving money to this. She didn't really have anything to do creative wise.
Okay, Summer Bishil was in. Okay, she was in Towelhead, Crossing Over, Muslim, Mooz.
You mean? Don't you mean Muslim?
No, Pedro. It's literally a movie spelled Mooz-Lum. Muslim. Public Relations, Last Airbender. Then she had a bit of a gap going into Popstar, which was in 2013, and then she didn't do a movie until 2018 called Under the Silver Lake. Although she wasn't drinking Josh, Hannah Montana, Return to Halloween.
Why are you in this movie? Why?
Okay, and
So
yeah.
let me get this straight. We skipped over Jet and his gang. We've skipped over
Boomy.
the established Fumi also, yeah. We skipped over Fame Good. Yeah, the only seriously positive thing that I can see of this movie is the fact that it skipped the Great Divide.
Yeah.
That's literally it, and it's probably something that wasn't intentional. What the hell happened here? We skipped like 3/4 of the series. It's not even a case of, oh, the movie is too short for doing it. The movie spends time to do filler that's not from the series.
Yeah.
And instead of actually adapting episodes from the series itself. And it wasted its climax in 40 minutes that could have been easily summed up in half of its time. What the fuck happened here?
This is how it felt, Teal, to be someone like me who just came off of watching the great original
This is
series.
a disaster through and through.
Yeah.
Like, why did Nickelodeon even approve this?
To be fair, Teo, were you really expecting anything more? You know this movie's infamy.
Well, no, I don't mean this. I mean, even for the time it came out.
It's always one thing to hear, Pedro, but it's another thing to actually experience it, especially when you've actually seen the show.
Yeah, you can see, oh yeah, it's made by Shyamalan, so it's automatically terrible. Okay, but Shyamalan needed to have been kept in check at least by Nickelodeon, so Nickelodeon must have had some input into this. So what happened here?
Nickelodeon were really stupid in allowing Shyamalan to do this in the first place, but they thought, hey, this is a high prolific actor, maybe this may be his shot here and there. They
This
did
is
not.
just a disaster with no redeeming quality. I seriously hoped to see at least some minor redeeming qualities, but no, this is just like Dragon Ball Evolution, complete garbage. I don't want to see this ever again. Seriously.
Welcome to my world. I mean, granted.
Anyway, that's all for me. Even like I predicted, even alcohol wasn't worth wasting on this.
And then remind you, Shyamalan wanted Kristen Stewart, of all people, to play Toph for book 2.
Go ahead, guys.
You want to cast one of the most dull people as one of the most interesting people.
Can I go next?
Go on, Dibs.
Sure.
Well, I gotta say, guys, a great job adapting the Wikipedia article of the TV show.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, wait, it was supposed to adapt the actual TV show.
Oops.
Apparently.
No, adapting wikis is where adaptions are at, you know?
Totally.
Yeah. Okay. I'll just speak of this as a film because that's how I saw this first.
Go on.
Jova can take care of the whole series comparison. As a film, it's just crap. There's a lot. The pacing is way too fast.
Oh, right. Luke is still more
There's
involved
no-
with this.
There's no characterization. What characterization there is minimal at best. The music's nice.
Gee.
That's the best part of the movie.
James Newton Howard being stuck with a movie that is too bad for his soundtrack, which is too good for it. Never seen that before.
Yeah. That's about it. Everything else is pure bilge.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm done. Next.
Sure,
It's terrible as a movie and an adaptation. As a movie, it just jumps all over the place. There's nothing really connecting the scenes, and I don't really count deleted scenes as a thing in the final product. So, yeah, even if they did connect everything together better, and as you said, Jova, may have made it a better movie, I'm going to ignore that because, again, they went in the final product.
Yeah,
So,
Superman 2, Richard Donner cut. This is not.
And to clarify, Shiroi, just because I say it would have been a better movie, I mean in the sense that people would have gotten a better semblance of the plot. The actual quality of those deleted scenes, though, I don't think it would have saved. Okay, maybe. Okay, I haven't even seen all those deleted
it
scenes,
wouldn't have
so
saved it as
who
an
knows?
adaptation.
Like
is
we,
what you...
let me put it this: we still would have had the terrible effects, the lousy writing every now and then, and the stupid exposition. So, yeah, unless that affected what they had to dub in for exposition, it would not have really have salvaged it that much.
Mm-hmm.
Continue, sure.
Go ahead, Shiri, finish.
But yeah, anyway, this was a very drawn out summary of the show, because Wibbs is right. That's what this is. This is a summary. They just bring up basic points, don't actually build up or explain anything. It's actually worse than the issue that A Series of Unfortunate Events had. Both of those movies should have, had sequels. Each book per film in this case, since each series of this show is a bit more meaty as opposed to children's books.
And both are from Paramount and Nickelodeon.
Oh, well, they have an issue then. But yeah, they should have. I mean, there was sequel baiting at the end, but it didn't go anywhere for obvious reasons. And honestly, if they had tried to adapt it book by book at a time in the first place, they might actually have, done a better job. And also, how old was Shyamalan's daughter at this time, if we know?
She was like 10, I think.
Yeah, I'd say she was, in her double digits at this point. So she was old enough to get a semblance of how bad this movie was. Funny, Shyamalan talks...
old enough to probably tell her father, hey, no, it should be like this. And it's like, nope, shut up. I'm doing it my way.
Shut up when you're grounded.
Never mind you. Shyamalan said that watching Avatar...
I'm making this movie for you, but I don't have to listen to you.
Yeah, let me put it this. Shyamalan said that watching Avatar was like a family tradition. Like, that's how much they watched it. And yet... This is
then you
what
fell asleep during every episode then, because you didn't pay attention.
And I just want to point out, he talks about how he prepped this for his daughter. He never talks about his daughter's actual reactions to those films. That should tell you quite a bit.
But, yeah, that's it. This is just... I mean, the movie doesn't make me angry. Like, even when I first saw this, it didn't make me angry. And, seeing the show and looking at it now, I'm fine. It's a terrible time, but I'd say, it's something you could watch after several drinks.
All right, can I go next?
Sure.
Yeah, sure.
All right, allow me to go back in time in 2010. Jova, I'm here in 2010, here in the theater now, and I just got done watching The Last Airbender. Guess what, Jova? It was a pile of garbage. It was. They didn't even do any. They barely follow. Well, okay, fine. They did technically follow the basic plot outline of season 1.
Not even that, honestly, because they don't even really go into the whole. He needs to learn all the elements, and there's no even. You know what's sad?
Jova, try saying that point as if you were Jon Stewart.
Okay, well, you see here, John. The fact of the matter is that Sosin's...
No, you're Jon Stewart. You're not supposed to be talking to Jon Stewart.
Whatever, get to the point.
Whatever. You see, the fact of the matter is that Sosin's comet was actually brought off in the earlier half of the first season. So that was actually the main point of Aang learning all the elements to stop the Fire Lord. Here, we're only told about Sosin's comet in the Fire Nation. Aang doesn't even know about it. So, honestly, I gotta say, I have no idea what's even really the conflict in this movie.
But that you see, Jova, this is all part of Shyamalan's genius that we ourselves don't understand, because as he said in the interviews of this movie, Jova, American critics just don't get him. You see, because apparently Europeans are the ones who like Shyamalan the best.
And how was this movie received in Europe? Oh wait.
Anyway, so yeah, this movie was absolutely garbage. The pacing is terrible. The faithful to the source material is minimal at best. The acting is god awful. The script writing is god awful. Everything about it is god awful, and it's just one of the biggest piles of garbage that Hollywood has ever produced. And that's all from me. Back to you, Jova.
Alright, yeah, I'm gonna start somewhere in the Pedro. Flashback to 2010. I was a big Avatar The Last Airbender fan, having, watched the series in, I forget if it was 2009 or 2010. Either way, though, it was fairly recent, and, I was hyped for the movie. Because the show had been so great, delivering on so many angles. Even when the show messed up, it made up for it. Like, hey, Great Divide was terrible. Well, let's stick it to Great Divide by pretty much axing it in the play version. Which, oh yeah, let's talk about that actually. Remember how me and Pedro said that, the ending of the Fire Emblem players pretty much sums up fans' reaction to the movie? Well, yeah. Now you know the context.
Mhm.
And yet that play is more faithful than the actual movie. Heck, it may even have better effects. And that was made back in the ancient days.
How sad is that?
I know, right? But yeah, okay, this movie, it's like, well, again, I did not know about Shyamalan, so, I pretty much went into this expecting for it to be a good movie because the trailers looked great. The effects looked good in the trailers. The scenes looked good in the trailers. They were hyping it up good enough. Little did we know, this would be the first live-action adaptation that I would hate. Because, I liked live-action adaptations of stuff. I even had fun with Batman and Robin. Yeah, that's a film I can have fun with. So, I liked live-action adaptations for the most part. And yet, holy cow, this was the first one I absolutely hated. Not only that, I came out of the theater trying to convince myself that I had fun, but it just never worked. Because the thing about this movie is like, well, not only does this fail as an adaptation, it's an adaptation that is not fun unless you're making fun of it. Like, don't try to go into this having legit fun because you'll be bored to tears by the exposition.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that was part of the problem here. I wasn't really into the whole riffing material stuff, so essentially I was so bored by the exposition, wondering when was it gonna get good? And it just never got good. Even when it had so many chances to. It had chances to with all the fight scenes, but it chose not to. It had chances to with the earthbending prison, but they made it earth instead of metal, which will kind of make Tao's thing kind of not even really show up that much because metal's only told to us, not shown. And that's the biggest problem with this movie. They tell us more than they show. In a show based off of Avatar The Last Airbender, that was a show that excelled by showing, having the right ratio of showing over telling. And yet here we're told. Sometimes we don't even get flashbacks for proper stuff. And it's inconsistent. The pronunciations are inconsistent, even though technically the original names are actually the proper pronunciations in some Asian countries. Because, the characters didn't come from just one part of the world. So why is he going into trying to get just the Asian one right for what is essentially Inuits? Fool. But yeah, again, the comedy is lax. They turned anyone funny into an edgy guy like Sokka. They turned Zhao into a comedian, played by a comedian, like holy cow. And the Fire Lord is just, I don't know what he is.
Joker.
Yeah,
It's not
a
even
joke.
funny.
Oh boy, this movie. This is
Not just that, yeah, Joey, for another thing I forgot, the fact that most of the characters are grossly underutilized. Like,
Yeah.
Oppa and Momo do nothing, Sokka does nothing outside of the beginning, and Katara is just there for a couple of scenes to, like Pedro said, look depressed and sad. Like,
again, it's like, well, it really hurts how underutilized the characters are. Because, yeah, that's a good point, Tio. The underutilizing of stuff. Katara! Holy cow, Katara! Okay, she doesn't get to give her rousing speech to the Earthbenders. No, that's given by Aang in this movie instead. She doesn't get to really ever rescue Aang except for one moment, and that's after Zuko knocks her out by doing 2 streams of slow-moving fire, which somehow knocks her out. Katara may have gotten the worst nerfing, and that's saying something considering Sokka's not even a bender. Like, Jesus Lord, it's like everything that was awesome, Shyamalan took away and made it bad. This movie, God, it hurts. It really did hurt. Like, yeah, if you were a Shyamalan fan, you probably knew what was coming, or maybe you dared to hope this would be, his final moment of turning it around. Well, the joke would have been on anyone who thought he would turn things around with this, and it was on me, because, again, I didn't know who Shyamalan was, so, oh god. I mean, okay, I will comment in on this movie as many times as I need to, but it hurts every time. I don't know why I keep coming back, but yeah, that's the thing. Every time I come back, I find new problems with this movie, because Almost every line in here is a problem, like Pedro pointed out. It's exposition. Who wants to hear exposition in a movie for the entirety?
Okay, for the record, exposition is not inherently a bad thing. It's just a matter of how you deliver it. Because
Exactly.
when you have movies that have complicated scenarios and complicated concepts that need to be properly where you need to explain the logic of how they work to the audience, exposition is inevitable. There has to be some exposition here and there. Otherwise, you'll just make an incoherent movie. I mean,
I know a good example, actually. Let's look at Infinity War. Infinity War was a movie that definitely did need exposition. Hey, you know what? They gave exposition. Here's the thing, though. They didn't spend every scene going, hey, Gamora, do you remember when we did this? Or, hey, Cap, you remember this? Or, hey, Tony, remember this? Or, Spider-Man, remember that? Or, Black Panther, remember this?
As you know, Tony.
Yeah, like I was saying before, like I mentioned in some other places, as you know, talking, the only way, again, where I saw it working, is for military briefings before going into a mission, because that is actually part of a protocol, and it's required to the people involved to go over the plan multiple times for standard procedure. So that at least has some justification. But everything everywhere else, like in this movie, it's just garbage. It should not be used.
Yeah, the reason, let's say a Metal Gear plot has a lot of exposition is because the concepts of that particular universe are very complicated and the plots go in a lot of different ways. So in order to make that thing coherent, exposition is going to be necessary. You have to at the very least consider it a necessary evil, if anything, because you gotta have exposition sometimes. The problem is that the plot of Avatar is simple to understand and does not require this amount of exposition at all. Shyamalan, you're not telling Metal Gear Solid 2. This is fucking Avatar: The Last Airbender. It shouldn't be that hard to follow.
The general story of Avatar was simple. What may have been complicated was some of the morals, but that was because, they didn't want to cloud everything with morals, so they had nice subtleties here and there. But the general story was simple. In Book 1, Aang has to travel across the Earth Kingdom to get to the Northern Water Tribe to learn waterbending. Book 2, Aang's looking for an earthbender, and then eventually he and Sokka contract this plan to use Day of Black Sun, so they gotta go to Ba Sing Se to plan an invasion. Book 3, pretty much, we have to stop the Fire Lord and Fire Nation once and for all. That's it! I just summed up the 3 plots of each season. They're lickety-split. Just make a movie based off around that. Like, you know what, Shyamalan? I would not have minded if you actually did some different new things here. Like, seriously though, the problem is that this movie has a problem of picking when it wants to be completely different and when it wants to, actually be a one-to-one adaptation. And the problem is how it mixes stuff here and there. Like, seriously, you know what they should have done? Actually, maybe change some things out. Like, okay, it's nice how they merge some episodes, but commit to those. Like, they only do that once to save time. And if you really did want to save time every now and then, again, why not have just made this, like, a part movie? Like, heck, Avatar is one of those things that lends itself to being, sliced up into movies. Like, heck, it's literally starting off as 3 parts, essentially. You could pretty much divide those up to episodes. Now, Book 1, I guess, maybe, could be its own one movie, but the later books could be too. You know what? No, you should have actually divided Book 1 up, because then we wouldn't have gotten this train wreck. Like, if you wanted to make them each an hour and a half, then there was... unless you changed things up enough, there was no way this was gonna work. And that's what we left with. At the end of the day, a train wreck with the conductor still insisting that train's gonna roll again someday because he still is pushing for Last Airbender 2 and 3.
Disperse. Nothing to see here.
Why is he still pushing for that?
I mean, I guess he really wants to fulfill his daughter's dreams.
Even so, Jova, again, I'm not seeing Paramount actually giving him...
I bet his daughter could actually make a better film.
I bet
at this point, Shyamalan is the only person left in the world that still thinks that movie can get made.
Hell, even the actors aren't really interested in coming back for it.
No. All right then.
I mean, I'm pretty sure Noah Ringer doesn't even act anymore by this point.
Oh yeah.
No, Cowboys and Aliens kind of.
Yeah.
Tank.
Anyway, that was the Last Airbender.
You know it's bad when this movie isn't the one that kills your career.
I'd say that
Anyway,
this
that-
movie was one that pretty much put him on the chopping block, and Cowboys News was just the one that let the guillotine slide. Alright then,
yeah.
folks, that was Last Airbender. Yes, it's been a 4-year anniversary to our first ever movie commentary.
Charming.
nice.
So see you for Korra, I guess.
Oh yes, Legend
Yeah.
of Korra.
Yeah. Everyone's looking forward to that one.
See ya.